Okay, Ducks Don't Get Cold Feet number 25. Special guest, Antonio the Spartan Caruso.
Oh, I like that introduction. Thank you very much.
Well, that's fair to say I was a massive UFC fan. And then I found it was affecting me not being able to sleep. Like if I'd see a fight, and it was throwing me around.
Yeah.
But Antonio the Spartan. Now, that's a pretty good name for a fighter. So we're going to get into a lot more detail, but you are a cage fighter? Is that a better way? Because everyone used to say MMA.
Yeah. Well, MMA
what do you wanna say?
is the sport. If I was going to say anything, I'm an MMA fighter. The best way to describe it to the common person is a cage fighter, because not many people know what I do. Like, you got to see someone that looks like it. I go to the local GP and she's like, oh, you know, like when I went for my ears, for instance, when I was like, oh, look, doc, my ears a bit full of blood, and they were just like, oh, well, how did that happen? And I was like, oh, so I'm a cage fighter, and they're just like the look that I get from some people is I actually love it. I do it on purpose, and I just love to like mess with people's reality. So, you know, and end up becoming a bit of a fan. You show them a few photos, they love it. They're like, that's really cool. And yeah, so for now I say cage fight or MMA if people know. Yeah.
So, and just to be very clear, when you see your ears, now there's something about BJJ fighters specifically. Guys that like to roll around on the ground. My mate, every time I go around here, let's go for a roll. And I'm like, no, I hate being choked. So any girls out there, mainly my wife, if you think that's what I'm into, that ain't what I'm into. But, you know, I hate it.
Yeah.
And I hate fucking someone getting underneath and choking me out here. I don't like my ears being rubbed. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But
fair call.
You clearly do.
Yeah, I love it. Like, honestly, the first time I was having this discussion with a friend yesterday, actually, and he used to do jiu-jitsu, and I said, what was the weirdest thing about it? Because it's so confronting. Like, there's nothing in this world like another man in your face trying to rip your head clean off. And I don't know, for that reason alone, I just fell in love with it. The first time I'd done it, I was like, oh, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, how do I do this more? Like, I want to learn how to choke people out and, you know, just dismantle people. It's a cool skill to have.
So getting into the right positions, and anyone that doesn't know anything about BJJ, you might after the end of this podcast. But what we like to do first is go back into early days of when you were first born. So you're an Adelaide kid.
Yeah, born and raised.
Born and raised in Salisbury.
No, well, originally I was from West Richmond, but moved to Salisbury at the age of 5. My parents split up. We moved in with our grandparents, and my dad, and it was me, my 2 brothers, and my dad and my grandparents, and it was somewhat of you'd say a prison camp, man. But we loved it. We loved it, man. Like, I didn't know what good food was until I was about 18, because my grandmother was quite possibly the worst cook ever. Like, honestly, I know, and I get this. No, seriously, like, and because people always laugh and they're like, "How?" Because everyone's nunnas are the best cook. Yeah, everyone knows that. My nunna, I'm serious here. Like, we used to eat like pastina, which is just like pasta and some sort of chicken stock, and party pies every night for dinner. Man, it was the worst. And then when I turned 18, I started venturing out of the house, and I discovered things like gnocchi. And I was like, what's that? I never heard of that one before. My mate's like, what? Yeah. So
a Caruso not knowing gnocchi.
Nah, we had a proper, and I loved it, man. I guess that's shaped me the person I am today. Like, it was a proper Spartan upbringing. No Christmas, no Easter, no parties, just hard upbringing, man, and just dedicated to what we did. We love our music. And Dad made us all play guitars and music. We all had to do martial arts. We all had to go to school. So I went through university. My eldest brother is a lawyer. The middle brother, he went into computer science. Never finished it, but he's a great guitarist. My other brother, Diego's a good guitarist. Me, I'm okay. I'm learning. We've all, done martial arts. And it comes from the background of how we started, with our grandparents.
So who's the film producer in the family?
The actor would be Sab, or formerly known as Sub. I don't know about his producing skills. I mean, that's probably up to your boy over here. He knows more about. He would probably be able to comment more about the quality. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. He is probably like I'll go around to this day. I fought a 2-time world champion in October and beat, a 2-time world, and still to this day people come up to me and they're like, hey, you're Subs brother, aren't you? I'm like, man, how the fuck, man? Like, I'm meant to be the guy you're talking to. I go into MMA gyms and the guys don't even want to ask about my fighting. They want to ask about my brother. I know, like, and I'm like,
well, let's get into a bit later on. So brought up in Salisbury. I'm assuming, what school did you go to?
I went to primary. I went to Holy Family. High school. Went to Thomas More.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we have a connection.
Yeah.
I was the store manager at our Elizabeth Park store.
Represent.
And it's fair to say I came from the private school, pretty boy, sort of got tainted with spoon in the mouth, all this sort of shit. And then I was at Elizabeth for 3 or so years, and it was full on.
Yeah,
it was a cultural change to come from the West Beaches, and that side, then to go out to Elizabeth, and it was pretty rough.
Yeah, it is. Like I come from Salisbury, and I'm telling you now, there's a huge difference between Salisbury and like Elizabeth and Davern Park, because that's where I did most of my I started, but the first sort of like martial arts you'd say I begun was in Jiu-Jitsu. When I started doing it properly and I started heading towards my career, we spent a lot of time in Elizabeth because the gym was on Dauncey Road, just near the TAFE.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, like the characters we'd get into that gym, like you're talking, wow. Like you can easily make a TV show out of the people that walk through that door. Yeah.
So how does, because I always go back to where you are today and how much of the resilience comes from where you started?
Yeah, well, like I said earlier, it comes from the upbringing, I really believe, man. Like, we were growing up, with our grandparents, no, who, they come from a war-torn country, and they kept that mindset, and it never sort of changed when they got here. Like, we were the sort of kids, like, if we didn't eat everything on that plate, someone's copping a hiding, you know what I mean? And that's how we grew up, man, and it was the only way we knew, discipline and respect. My uncle walks in the door, I get up, I shake his hand, I don't sit down and shake his hand, I look a man in the eye when I talk to him, I address him, so simple things like that, I really believe, the backbone of, people, of this era, you know what I mean? And you're seeing it now, kids aren't getting that anymore. And I really believe that's how I got to where I am today, because of that discipline and respect.
So when we talk about what happened in the early days, your parents divorced pretty early?
Yeah, when I was 5 years old, my parents split up.
Join the club, mate.
Yeah,
we're in the same club.
Yeah, dog.
So does that change you?
Honestly, and I have this conversation, because sometimes people ask me this, and I'm like, to be honest with you, man, I didn't realise that you had a mum and dad until I was like, probably in year 4. I was like, people would rock up with their mum, and I'm like, who's this girl? I'm like, who's that woman? She sort of looks like your sister, but she's a lot older. Yeah, like seriously, because my dad was sort of guy, man, like as soon as it happened, boys, who cares? Moving on. Let's just keep on soldiering on. And that's how I was, man. And never fazed me once to this point, you know what I mean? And I was just like, yeah, I just move on, man, with my life.
So going through school, were you the sort of kid that wanted to pick on everyone and beat everyone up? Or were you like getting beaten up, or were you just cruise through?
I'll tell you what, man, and I stand by this, but a lot of people deny it, but I was the coolest kid at school. And I still go up to people and I tell them, I'm like, man, I was the coolest. I was the kid. And a lot of my mates bagged me and say I wasn't, but they know that I was. I picked up all the chicks, all the guys wanted to know me and hang out with me. I was the cool kid. I know. I don't care what anyone says. I'm sticking to that story.
Yep.
But in terms of the question about fighting, by the time I got to school, no one would even look sideways at me, because my brother Sav had beaten just about everybody up. The teachers were scared of him. He got to a point in high school where he wasn't allowed to go into the senior school because he used to beat up the older kids. Like, he would go into the year 12s area and fight them. Like,
so is he a big guy?
Nah, man. My brother's probably about my size, maybe a bit bigger, but man, he's just a loose cannon, man. He's just like
looking on Pornhub, he looks pretty big.
Yeah, look, he is like, and I as a child, because often people, but it makes me sick because it's unfair, because I didn't get any of that, all right, and it pisses me off, all right, it's unfair, man, unfair. I got ripped off, man. I got ripped off.
Where's the fucking justice here?
No, man. All I wanted was 50% of it, man. Fuck, man. You know?
Oh,
and
God.
They sold me short. But I remember as a kid looking over, I was like, bro, why you got that third leg? I've only got two, you know what I mean? He's like, nah, this is my old fella. I was like, shit, dog, mine's small.
So with school and growing up, I mean, I was brought up in Modbury, and Clovercrest used to be, I used to get in a bit of trouble. I used to be able to run pretty fast, but I used to be able to talk too. So I could sort of talk my way to a situation before I had to bolt. There was a nice alley near where I was. I could go down the alley. Knew the route.
Yeah.
I can remember some pretty classic showdowns in my area, and back then there were skinheads and whatnot, and it was like and I definitely wasn't a skinhead or anything, but I was just part of the riffraff, but got caught amongst all that. Did anything like that happen that stands out as like, whoa?
Look, like I said, honestly, man, by the time I got to the age of 14, the whole entire suburb just knew not to mess with the Caruso boys because of Sav. Like, he had literally beaten up every gang. Yeah, but he would find the biggest and the baddest gangs, and he would that's who he would target. He wanted them. And honestly, I know that he was the craziest guy I've ever seen in my life. I've seen him take on, like, when we were 14 years old, I remember we got into this massive, like, melee with skinheads because there was the tough boy of the neighborhood. He was like 18. My brother, like I said, was like 14, 15. And I was with a couple of mates, and the guy rode past my brother and, like, sort of kicked him on the way past. And Sav was just like, oh, what's your problem? He obviously thought that Sav was going to back down, and Sav ended up just giving him a flogging. And next thing you know, there was about 30 skinheads out the front of our house. And it was just mayhem everywhere on the street. There was people everywhere. My brother, Diego, rocked up with a few mates. And then this is the funniest part of the story. I'm not even at it yet. So we lived on one, typical day goes, we lived on one side. My grandparents lived on the other side of the street. I'm telling you, cars everywhere. Because we lived near Hollywood Plaza, people everywhere. And then was rocked up out the door with a shotgun. And just everybody's just shit themselves and see you later. They never heard from him again, seen him again. Like, that was the upbringing, man. That's how we sort of grew up. And that to me was normal. Yeah. Like, that's, when you, like, let me say this, and my brother will say the same thing. Like, trouble and fighting on the street is worth zero. It really is. Like, and I can openly say that to any young kid. Like, where's fighting gonna ever get you on the street? Like, unless Kimbo Slice, you know what I mean? But let's be honest, like, it gets you nowhere. And that's why I've never chose to fight on the street. I have people to this day, like I was saying earlier, that try and front me in clubs and try and be tough, and I just look at them and think, what's the point, man? Like, what are we going to do? But you're going to tell your mates you got into a fight. Like, if you want, man, you can come to the gym. I'll get $1,000 out of the ATM. You get 1,000 out, and winner takes all. But I bet you won't do it, you know what I mean? Because fighting is, it's a sport. It's not, unless you got real beef. When there's real beef, you got to sort it out like men. Because the era we live in now, it's all like talk back and forth, yelling. Maybe then end up someone shooting at a house and misses by a mile. Why don't the two men just meet in the middle of the street, duke it out, shake hands and walk off, man,
And that's a great philosophy because that's how it should be.
Yeah.
And recently we'd done this promotion for Snitty for Sam, who got King Hit, so totally didn't see it coming. Yeah. And, that sort of behaviour with, I got young kids, and I see that, I think, I sort of was, I look at how I was brought up, and I was out a lot, and I sort of went through pretty unscathed, to be honest. Yeah. But you see how one bad decision in that environment, it's like, Dad goes, racing, it's dangerous, but it's what I love doing. And the safest place to race is on a racetrack. Yeah. So for fighting, if you want to fight, the safest place to do it is definitely in a gym. In a gym,
under
in a ring,
the referee with rules. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we all have those urges, and we should have those urges to do something crazy. That's I believe that's what makes us, animals and human, like as in, it's our urge. We're living in an era now where it's like everyone's just told to be calm and relaxed. Like, you want to have that bit of go about you. You know what I mean? That bit of crazy in you. Yeah. And that's a big thing. You got to release it. You got to let it out, man. Otherwise, one day it just pops. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such an interesting way to look at it. I 100% agree with you. I don't. You people see fighters and think, they're hot-headed. Yeah. You look at things like Colin McGregor does, but GSP never did stuff like that. Yeah. But Colin McGregor's totally the opposite. Yeah. trying to, he can talk as well,
Yeah,
and he's pretty quick.
Yeah, and you got to remember as well that people don't realize with Conor McGregor, a lot of these guys,
Came
there's a
from
lot
nothing.
but not only that from nothing, but a lot of these guys, man, they're like, I'm just selling a fight, man. What do I care? I'm just gonna go out there, talk some trash, make some money. Like, I'd rather be paid $5 million and talk a bit of shit rather than be paid like 10 grand and do the exact same job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I talk a bit of trash, I'll make extra money. And unfortunately, it's more the industry that's forcing guys like us to do this to make money. It's like, what if they just paid us equally? We probably wouldn't be as hot-headed. But then you do have the odd guy like my brother Sav, who does make it to the professional ranks, and he don't care that there's a camera in front of him or someone, a lawyer saying, don't say that. I don't care, man. This is a fight, and I'm going to fight anyone in this room. Like, I'm not scared of anyone here. Like, what are you going to do to me? Like, that's how you got to fight. As we are like disciplined and respectful people, but when it's like, especially when it's fight week, man, it's like a jungle. Like, you're just looking for someone to bite their head off. Like, come on, man. Like, who wants to go? But we're out in our night, normal life, like me right now, I couldn't think of it. Like, I get people always going out road rage. I'm like, road rage? Like, who cares? Oh, you got to toot at him. I'm like, what? Who cares, man? So the guy cut me off. Who cares? I'm going to be 2 seconds later. I'm going to be late anyway, so who cares,
I've got major road rage to myself. But I would never do anything other than that. But I'll go psycho. But if they looked at me, I'd be like, oh, yeah. Head down. I don't want to cause any trouble. With fighting and the loose term that you see, like with people wanting, it does, you go back, Muhammad Ali, there's always been the trash talk. And some of them are really good at it and some aren't. But
Cringy,
it's a part of it's a part of the sport, right?
It's a part of the world now.
Yeah.
It's how you market yourself. You know what I mean? You guys are in industry yourselves. Like, you've got to be edgy and to sometimes to just get people's attentions. You know what I mean? Like, I love the thing you do when you call out the shoplifters. Good. And so you should, man. They're thieves and people. Hey, if you want to steal from my shop, cool. But I'm just going to let everyone know who you are. That's all I'm doing. I'm just putting it out there for everyone to know. So I'm backing you up for that, man. Love it.
It's a crazy way to think that that's how media is taken on board these days.
Yeah.
And, we got asked, well, why are you doing it in this format? Because if I just released a CCTV saying this person's wanted, no one would care.
Straight past it.
Yeah, but because you put a bit of flair into it.
Marketing. You put a bit of marketing on it.
Correct.
Yeah, something that catches your eye. It's just like Conor McGregor. He comes out there and talks a bit of trash and everyone's like, oh, what's this guy saying? George St. Pierre, to me, is the greatest of all time.
Okay, so I haven't got to who you think's good, but let's jump the gun.
Yeah.
Who do you think?
Oh, you can't get the greatest of all time. The real life, everything that martial arts was embodied through is George St. Pierre, man. Like, he's a real life, like living superhero, man. He went in the cage and he fought the best guys in the world and he dismantled them. And to me, it's watching him was like watching poetry, man. Like, wow, how good is this guy?
Yeah, he's spectacular.
Yeah. There's a lot of good guys that I truly, truly respect and love.
Do you John Bon Jones? You like
John Jones. Look, I love John Jones,
John
him,
Jones.
but he's been tainted with some steroid talk, and once I hear that, it puts me off you. Like, I love him. He really is one of the best fighters to have ever done it.
He's quite unique.
Yeah.
It's a unique. Is it an abstract? Not abstract, but it's unorthodox.
His style.
Yeah.
You're saying he is a fighter who can adapt at any moment. He can constantly grow with it. Like, you watch him from round to round, he changes his fighting. And that's why he is one of the best who've ever done it. Like, he just can constantly evolve while in the fight. Where most guys, you go in there with a plan and you just stick to the plan. Where John Jones is assessing every punch, every kick. So he's one of the greatest. The Gracie family, they're one of the, you got to shout out to them. They're the gods of it all, man, so. So
in regards to your style, I see you pretty much, you like stand-up.
Well, that's so I started off.
I've watched a few of your fights.
Yeah, I started off in Jiu-Jitsu. So I started off as a grappler, pure grappler, went all around Australia, competed in America, trained all over the world. And then I was like, you know what, man, I really want to test myself as a true martial artist. And this is how I got into MMA. I was like, I just want one fight. Just one fight to prove that I can do this sport. Like I have what it takes. Because in case I ever teach one day, I don't want to be that guy that goes, oh, I was pretty good. Oh, how many fights did you have? Oh, none. You know, I hate those people. In a lot of the black belt clubs, and I'll shout them out right now, the taekwondos and now, you're all scammers. You're ripping people off, man. Yeah. And if any of them want to take the challenge on and test that they're better than me in martial arts, I'll do that shit for free. I'm not afraid to do that. Because I love martial arts, man. I love martial arts. And those people are ripping like young kids. They're giving them a false sense of security. And that's why that's why I love George St. Pierre, because he went in there and because in our mind many years ago, Jean-Claude Van Damme was actually tough.
Yeah,
we thought he was a tough guy.
No joke. I agree.
Yeah. Oh, I thought Stallone.
Yeah.
I thought Stallone's the best boxer in the world. Van Damme's the best kickboxer in the world. Like, these are the ideas I had because of marketing, man. And then you're seeing the UFC and you're like, and you're seeing John Jones, George St. Pierre, Chuck Liddell, Randy Couture, and I was like, and even when you're seeing Gracie for the first time, you're like, it was like an oh my God moment. Like, oh, what is that? What did he just do?
Yeah.
Like, you seen this little guy, like no bigger than like yourself, fighting guys who were like 6'4", 125 kilos, and he'd beat him. And he'd beat 3 of them in one night.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's amazing. Like, and then he revolutionized martial arts in the whole world in general.
So is that what got you into BJJ?
So when I was about,
because Gracie specifically,
that's where it comes from. Gracie's jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So they learn a Japanese style of jiu-jitsu, then they evolved into Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Isn't it funny because they're Brazilian?
Yeah,
and it's a Japanese.
Yeah, well, it's actually a very funny story.
So you're actually you like the history of...
Oh, I love it. I love martial arts.
So you must love
I've been to
Lee
Japan. I'm not a huge... I like Bruce Lee, but remember Bruce Lee was a philosopher.
John,
you know what I mean?
Kendo.
Who?
John can do or something.
There's all heaps of styles. Yeah. But for me, like... There's martial arts, and then we're in an era now where like we can see guys compete through martial arts, and that's why George St. Pierre to me is the real life Bruce Lee. See, Bruce Lee in a sense, he had a lot of great sayings and things that he would talk about, but like a guy like Rickson Gracie, he was fighting, literally would go around Brazil and say to neighborhoods, who's your toughest guy? Oh, just so-and-so. Okay, bring him here next week, and me and him are going to fight. And he literally went through Brazil beating people up until one day they made like a competition. Then he brought it to America, and then the Americans, then he beat everyone up in America, and then they made the UFC, and then he proved to the world that they're the best, and then that's how the UFC took off. It's actually a really, really cool... The story is even more epic than that, because the grandfather, the original great-grandfather, he was in the war, and he helped... A Brazilian guy helped the Japanese air pilot out.
Yeah.
And the air pilot said, I'm in debt to you. And he goes, well, how can I ever repay you? He goes, I want you to teach my son jiu-jitsu, Japanese jiu-jitsu. They sent over the original grandfather who invented jiu-jitsu. He learnt it, but he was too small of a man. He couldn't, because it's like a boxer. The biggest boxer is always going to beat the smallest boxer, no matter what, because size matters in that sport. But he learned jiu-jitsu in a way that you could literally have, you can have like a 15-year-old girl submit a 30-year-old man if she knows what she's doing. It's actually,
really?
When I first started, this is how it all started. Now I'll get to how I started.
Yeah.
So my brother was doing jiu-jitsu, Sav, the crazy one. Because he was lucky he's like that. He's very out there. A lot of people tell him, don't do it, that's stupid, jiu-jitsu's dumb. Because back then there was no such UFC and thing.
No, internet.
Yeah. No one really, there was no fame in it. My brother was like, I just want to learn. I really want to learn how to do jiu-jitsu. So he went to this club, he started learning jiu-jitsu. And he was telling me how good he was. And I was like, come on. Me being the hot shot that I am. I said, Sam.
There's no rivalry in your house.
Sam, well, no, there isn't, because he doesn't have a rival with me. It's only me with everybody else. That's how it always worked, man. And so Sam's, he's like, I've got a competition this week. You guys should come. We went there and watched it. All my cousins were saying to him, I don't do it. Sav, quit. What are you doing jiu-jitsu for? It's dumb. But I was like, nah, stuck to his guns, went and done it. And I was like, well, that's pretty cool, like what he did. Anyway, so I said to Sav, I bet you $500 you couldn't tap me out. He goes, I'm telling you right now, in 1 minute, I could tap you out. Easy. And I was like, $500? So yeah. It was like, come to the club on Tuesday, we'll prove it. I said, all right. So I went to the club. I wrestled with him. In about 45 seconds, he submitted me. I was like, got up, typical arrogant me that I'm, got up and I was like, $1,000 says you can't do it again. And I swear to God, true story, we wrestled. I tried to run away from him this time. He got me down. 59 seconds, he tapped me out. I had a head arm choke on. I tried not to tap. And unfortunately, I was about to go unconscious, so I tapped, and everyone was like, oh, you did it. And I was like, wow, he actually beat me so easy. And I was like, all right, and this 14-year-old kid was there.
Oh, hang on. You were younger as
Yeah,
well.
no, I was 20, but I was 20. I was
20?
playing. Yeah, I was 20. I was playing footy. I was strong, and this 14-year-old kid was there, and he was like, "Tony, roll with that kid." And I was like, "What's this kid gonna do?" Still being arrogant. So I've just had my ass handed to me twice, and look over this kid. I'm like, "What the fuck? What's he gonna do?" His name's Jesse, very good friend of ours. I've known him for years. I said, "Come on, whatever. Come here, kid." This kid wrapped me up like a pretzel, and I was like, how you doing that, man? And from that day on, I was like, I have to learn how to do this. This is phenomenal. Like, I can't believe how amazing of a sport this is. Like, you know, and over the years, like I said, the characters we had through Northside, we'd have bodybuilders, we'd have the biggest, strongest footballers, big fat guys come in, man, and you just tap them out within like a minute and just blow people's minds. You really would. That's why I love jiu-jitsu. That's how I fell in love with it. And yeah, that's where it all started.
And you can see that.
Yeah, like I truly like love it. It's all I watch. Like my girlfriend, that's all we do is watch it, MMA all day, every day. I just love it. There's no other sport I wish it was on TV every day. You know?
So is your girlfriend into it?
Yeah, she loves it. She's almost a bigger fan than I am. But she wasn't when I first met her.
Is she a groupie? No, I can say that.
She's an angel, man. She's an angel. Right? I only take angels, man.
No, it was.
I'm getting hot
was.
now.
Well,
I'm not taking the jacket off for no other reason. I'm just getting hot now. The conversation's getting hot. You know what I mean?
I don't mean like you know. That's,
no. Well, when like we met, because she's a lot younger than I am, and not too young.
She's over.
Not underage, man. Come on. She's 24 now. So and she didn't really know what MMA was. So she started watching it because I do it. She wanted to learn more about it. And now she actually knows like just as much as I do. Like as in the fighter. She doesn't know how to fight at all. Yeah. Like she's a little pretty girl. I call her a Barbie doll. But she don't like that name. But you know,
I'm sure she loves that.
Yeah.
So with your brother and you know, pushing the boundaries a little bit, and that's basically got you into jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. So from that, then how did you progress through there? Well,
once again, it's that brother of mine, that porn star brother of mine. He just keeps on doing things. So then I started getting really good at jiu-jitsu. I was doing really good. I was submitting heaps of guys, getting real strong at it, really dedicated to it. And just out of nowhere, my brother's like, because we started doing a bit of boxing because the gym had jiu-jitsu and boxing.
Yeah, where was this?
It's at Northside in Elizabeth.
Yeah.
So Peter was our jiu-jitsu coach. So shout out to my guy, Peter O'Shea. Love him. He's the guy that got me started. And then there was a guy called Don Mackay. Probably the hardest, craziest Scottish guy you've ever met in your life. I'm talking like he didn't even like know who I was for about a good year. He'd just call me a dago. That's what he'd call me, Wog. He'd say, Wog, come here. And he'd go, do this. And then he'd go, now go back over there and learn it. And that's how we all started. Like we would just learn off this man, and then he started teaching us boxing. And to this day, me and Don are super close. He's like an uncle, and Peter, they're like uncles to me. I love them. And that's how we started learning some boxing. And then one day I was in Bali. Me and my brother, we flew to Bali with a few mates, and my brother's like, "Oh, you're gonna do an MMA fight when we get home?" And I was like, "Oh, what do you mean?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, so when we get back in 2 weeks, you're gonna fight MMA." I was like, all right. And he's like, I'd never watched it. I'd seen bits and pieces of the UFC one. Yeah, and I was like, what do you mean MMA? So I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. He's like, don't worry about it. You win. Trust me. And I was
love the confidence
And I was like, oh man, like, what am I gonna do?
What were you doing in Bali? Boxing?
We were just on a holiday. We're mucking around, partying every night. But lucky for us, we're not big drinkers and stuff. Yeah. So we're pretty if I'm on a holiday, I'm still getting up, going for a run. I'm still eating super healthy. Yep. Like, that's just the lifestyle that I live. And so I fought at 84 kilos. No, 84 back then. So it was
84?
Easy. Yeah, that was back then. Yeah,
I was going to say, so I'm 80 and...
now I fight at 77. So I fight at 77 kilos. So, but back then, like, because Australia was so fresh to what MMA was, like, you literally go up to people and they'd still call it UFC. Like, people still do to this day. But, you know, and
well, that's a great job they've done.
Yeah, they have. They've done an amazing job, and like they've brought martial arts to the world. And like I said before, I'm such an enthusiast for it. So I love that, you know, martial arts is known all over the world now. That's why I respect a man like Conor McGregor. I'd love to fight him. I'd love to stand across the cage from him. But at the same time, I do respect him because in a way he brought us to the world. You know, when he fights, the whole entire world's talking about it. Yeah. And when someone comes up to me and they're like, "Oh, I'm watching the UFC on the weekend," even though I'm not with the UFC, it brings a smile to my face because I love martial arts that much. So anyway, as I was saying, you know, we were in Bali. I flew back, and in 2 weeks' time, I was fighting this guy. I had no idea about him, no idea who he was. Barely even knew what MMA was. So I rocked up to the fight, man. I just remember thinking, I remember that whole last week, I was just like so scared. I was literally, I've never been so frightened in my life. And like I said, I was never a good street fighter. Like I said to you earlier, like me and my brother would get into some scraps. He'd like to get us into some fights. He'd always clean everybody up, and I'd always end up, copping a fat lip or something. I was like, man, I'm so shit, man. I can't fight, man. And then, he put me, so I'm sitting there thinking, what am I going to do? I'm going to get in this ring, because back then we had to fight in a ring. Because the laws hadn't changed yet. Because the governments, they think that we're the Neanderthals, which we sort of are. But anyway, so they made us fight in a ring, because that's a lot safer than a cage, apparently. I don't know where that comes from. You know what I mean? Like, that's actually what they used to do.
No, that's actually why it was in a ring and not in a cage.
Because they believed that inside of a cage, it was like a human cockfight. So you put ropes around it, safe now.
Your brother might be good at that.
Well, he's been in the cage a few times. They're not just fighting. You know what I mean? We'll bring that movie up later. So they done some handy work in the cage, man. I'm serious. I wasn't happy about the video at the start.
Oh man. So hang on. So where did we get? So you came back first fight.
Yeah. So
did you watch? Did you start watching?
Well, back then you didn't have as much footage. You didn't. It was just whatever Peter was telling me, my coach, and Don. Like, I trusted and believed in those two guys so much. You don't understand. Like, to me, they were like, they were like those superheroes right there. Peter could do things to guys that I've seen. Like, he was this black belt in jiu-jitsu, big fat guy, Peter, and I'd seen him get the biggest and the best, strongest guys, and he would just make them. He'd tickle them till they tap out. That's how good Peter was, and I was like, man, if whatever he tells me has to be true, like, Peter's the man, and I trusted in him and Don, and I went in there, I fought, and I remember the week leading up to it, I was just so scared to the point where, like, I was like, if I just hit the brakes in the car and someone hits me up the ass, like, I can get out of this fight. That's how legit, how scared I was to fight in this fight. I was terrified. I remember just rocking up to the fight, and Don was there and Peter and stuff, and that was just so cool and calm. And that's, like, it was like a normal day to them. Like, oh yeah, Tony, you ready? And I was so scared. I went in there and I fought, and I beat the guy in the second round with this rear naked choke, and I was like, this is that feeling that you get for about 5 minutes after you win is the greatest feeling in the world. Like, and that's what kept me going. I was like, man, I got it. And my brother's like, we'll get you in another one. And a month later, he made me fight again, and then he made me fight this kickboxer who was like well known all over Australia for knocking people clean out. And I was just like, Sav, like, he just kept putting me in these things. And I was like, stop doing this to me, man. I don't want to fight. Because I personally tried not to fight for a long time. I didn't want to be an MMA fighter. It was too scary for me, and I didn't want to do it. And so I probably could have had many more fights before now, but I chose to not, choose. I didn't want to do it. Anyway, I fought again a month later, beat that guy in the first round. And then I was like, man, that's when I started thinking, maybe I am good at this. And, luckily for me, I was able to travel the world with it and meet these amazing people and have some amazing experiences. And then I fell in love with martial arts, and now I'm where I am today. So I'm with one of the biggest organizations in the world. So
let's talk about that. You've signed with one or one?
One championship, yeah.
One championship. Like you say, a lot of people talk, they might know cage fighting. Mm-hmm. They might know MMA. They might know UFC. Yeah. One championship. Do you want to give us a bit of a...
The best way to explain it to people, like, to understand, is so you've got the EPL, you've got like English Premier League, you've got the Italian Soccer League. Yeah. They're all the same sport, and they're just different leagues. So Inter Milan, who are a great Italian soccer team, for instance, they're, but they're not as well known as a Chelsea. Everybody's going to know Manchester United and Chelsea. So that's what we are. We're one championship. We've got amazing fighters in our organisation, but the UFC, they're the biggest and the strongest brand of them all. And everyone knows who they are. And they arguably have the best fighters, but there's a lot of brands now coming up like PFL, One Championship, Bellator, and you're seeing some of the best fighters in the world coming out of those brands now. And MMA is starting to just explode now, and I just can't wait for it.
So with the fighting in between, like... If you wanted to take, Colin McGregor, let's just talk. I mean, that'd be a dream.
Are you calling him Colin or Connor?
Connor.
Oh, I thought you said Colin.
I could have said Colin.
Yeah, I wasn't sure there. Yeah.
So, McGregor, let's just
call him McGregor.
What weight is he?
He's, at the moment, he's 155, so I fight for one championship.
He's a lot littler than you.
He used to fight at 145.
Yeah.
So that's in pounds. It's like 66, I think, kilos. 66 kilos. That's 145 pounds. But so Conor McGregor,
Fuck, 60. Is that all he is?
Yeah.
What's you?
I'm 66.
yeah, but he cuts to 66.
Yeah.
It's like me. I used to walk around at 88 kilos and cut down to 77.
Like, I wish I could cut down. I can't even lose 2 kilos.
Nah, some guys do weight. Some guys will lose like 10 kilos in about 2 days. Yeah, they go crazy. So that's where one championship, this is why it's different. So one championship, we're the only organisation in the world that you have to weigh in 2 days in a row and you have to pass a hydration test. So naturally you have to make weight. Where the UFC, you can just sit in a sauna for 24, like literally you could, there's been people on stage for the UFC and have passed out while on the scales because they're so dehydrated. You know, it's super dangerous the way they do it. Guys, some people are crazy the way they cut weight. It's quite insane. Like the gym I'm with, you know, is one of the best gyms in the world. I have some guys who we're fighting on the same date, the same weight, and they're 10 kilos heavier than I am. And I'm like, how are you going to make weight? Like, and they do. They still do. Somehow. I don't know. I don't want to know how, but they do.
So sauna,
Yeah.
sweat.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy stuff like that. Need for 2 days, just sit in a sauna.
So before that, so one championship.
Yeah.
So you've had. So I've got an MMA debuted in 2013.
For
Was it?
yeah.
Yep. So you had a record. Yeah. So far.
That was my first fight. Yeah.
Yeah, and then during that period you had a record of 7-0.
Yeah. So when I got signed to one championship was in 2019.
Okay. So how many fights have you had in the one championship?
What now? I've had two fights.
So you had your first one was a loss?
First one was a loss, decision loss.
What happened? Decision. Because I watched the highlights of that fight, so I didn't see the whole fight.
Yeah.
But
It was, you know what it was? It was the first.
You got rattled a couple of times.
You know what it was?
in
It
that
was.
fight.
I'm the first ever guy from this city to do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So no one's ever fought professional MMA before. No one's been signed to a major organisation. I'm the only one. So I have to make a lot of mistakes and I have to live with those mistakes. And I made mistakes in preparation for this guy. I went in. I thought like in Australia, like I told you before, my first fight, I'd go to Bali, come back 2 weeks, fight a guy and beat him. That's what I could do. Because in the Australian standard, it's not as good.
Yeah.
And when you get to that world scene, it was just like, whoa, these guys are machines. They're animals. And that guy, man, he kicked the living shit out of me. And it was a good day. It's a good day.
He hit you a couple
I got that big scar on my nose, man, because of him. He's going to pay. Peter, I like Peter. We talk a lot on Instagram, and I can't wait to get in there again, and I'm going to bust him up this time. That I swear by. Or I'm going to die trying, one of the two. One of the two, that I can promise.
He got you with a couple of body kicks.
The knees were the ones that I shot in, because I went in very fatigued. I flew from Florida to Adelaide to Jakarta within about 4 days. And I was just, by the time I got to Jakarta, I was totaled. I was cutting weight. I literally would wake up most mornings, especially when you're fighting in the last 2 weeks, you probably are lucky if you get a good 6 hours sleep, because you just wake up every day knowing that you've got to get locked in a cage with some other guy who's going to smash your face in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a daunting feeling. Like, I'm going to be honest. Like, I'm shitting myself. I'm like, fuck, man, you're in another country. I mean, you're waking up like when we're in Jakarta, they play because it's a Muslim country,
Yeah.
they wake up to the music that they play.
Yeah.
You know, I was wondering when they put a good song on. I was hoping for. Well, you know, I didn't like this my style of music, man. I'm more of a rock and roll guy, but AC/DC, but
So leads into, what is preparation for you?
It is.
So when's your next fight?
So my next, hopefully, fingers crossed, in June, July. That's the word from the boss. He said that they're going to bring me out June, July. I was meant to fight a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, it didn't work out.
Because of COVID? Or?
Yeah, because that's at the moment I'm working through the stages of getting a visa to get to America to live, because it's just I've been trying to hold it back for a long time, because I love my friends and my family. I really do. I love my life in Adelaide. I love this city. I love the people here. But yeah, like, it's got to a point now where if I don't move, it could be the end of my career. Like, I've got to do something in a hurry.
Well, you're 30.
Yeah, 30 now, and I can't keep turning down fights. So now it's at a point where it's time to get. I just spoke with the lawyer this morning about getting a visa and moving myself and hopefully my girlfriend to America, and spend hopefully the next 5 years in Florida, and then just making a run at the world title. You know what I mean? So like I said earlier, honestly, and that's the way I live, is I'm gonna try, and if I don't, I'm just gonna die trying. It's got a good story at the end of it. You know,
Great story at the end. But what's a pre-fight ritual for you, or like What is it that, are you one of these guys that doesn't wear red jocks before going to bed?
I don't believe in no luck, nothing like that. I don't. One thing I do hate is preparation.
Okay.
I hate being super organised on fight day.
Yeah.
It annoys me. I really want to be like in a constant rush, like mayhem. And then when I get in the drink, it's like I feel comfortable. I feel most comfortable in mayhem.
Yeah.
That's why I travel a lot. I love flying all over the world. Some of my favourite cities are the craziest, busiest cities there are because you just feel like, I feel comfortable in a bit of chaos. So that Peter fight, that made me go to the fight like 2 hours early, and I just felt like too organised, and it really put me off. But no, there's no major preparation. It's just, there's a 6-week camp. We stick to the skills. You get your sleep and you get your right nutrition in. And you're ready to go. You go at the game day, and you best have because in our sport there's nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
There's no, it's probably a lot like motor racing. You'd be able to understand because only you can make that car win, and only you can make that car lose.
Yeah.
It's not like football where you can just handball to your team. You can have the shittest day, but you can still win a game. With us, it's 100% on it. And our game, it's a game of a bit like Russian roulette, man. You make the one wrong step, and you can wake up, 5 minutes later, where am I?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's all over. So, and you're playing high stakes. You're fighting in front of millions of people all over the world. So it's a lot of pressure on you. But at the same time, like I said, when you're comfortable in chaos, you enjoy it. So, for that fight there with Peter, I had to face a lot of adversity. I remember getting up for that third round. I was so depleted, so tired, so like physically, I've never felt so destroyed in my life. Like I said, all the flying, the lack of sleep. And, I got in the, I get up for that third round. I copped a massive knee in the second round. My head was spinning. Everything was just all over the shop. I remember getting up for the third round, and I remember looking over the cage, and my coach was talking to me. The doctor was asking me questions, and I just couldn't hear nothing. I remember just looking over at the cage at Peter, and I just remember seeing my name up on the board. And I remember the day my grandfather died, many years ago, and I swear that I want to get that name Caruso one day up in lights. I had no idea I was going to do it, but in my head I was like, man, I just remember saying it to myself over my nunnal's, grave, like, I swear, nunnal, like, I'll put our name in lights. I don't know how, but I'm going to do it. I remember looking up and just seeing my name on the board, and I was just like, oh, well, this guy's gonna have to kill me. He's gonna have to kill me to beat me. Like, I'm gonna guard. Even though I can't lift my hands up, you're gonna have to just like kill me. And I just went out there and fought. To me, that was my favorite fight of all time. Like, I've never felt so proud of myself. Even when I beat the 2-time world champion, I still wasn't as proud of myself when I lost that fight, because I felt, you know what, I finally went from that little boy who was too scared to fight in the street to someone who was willing to, like a Spartan. That's why I love the name, to die here on my shield, man, because I'm not gonna let my family and friends down. Like, I'm not gonna do it. I'd rather die a man than live a coward. So that's my mindset, yeah.
Wow. That's and that's sort of hence the name.
Yeah,
the Spartan.
That's why I love it, because I am no good at nothing. Like, really, I was never good at. I can't read. I can't write. I'm serious. My girlfriend laughs. She goes, "Yes, you can." I'm like, seriously, babe. I'm not well written. I can't speak well. I'm not really good at many things. I'm not fast. I'm not strong. But one thing I'll do is I'll never give up, man. Never. I'll try and try. I'm the best try hard you can have. All right, that's me. All right, number one try hard. You're looking at it.
Well, it's a pretty, it's an important point.
Yeah.
And I think if there's things you love. Mm-hmm. And not giving up, I don't see the problem.
Yeah, well, that's what I say to a lot of people. I think we're living in a world now where we deem success through money.
Yeah.
And like, how much money are you earning? Like, makes you how successful you are. And I say to them, not at all, man. I say, like, do you doing what you love? And whether you're making money out of it or not, that's all that matters. That's success. See, to me, I don't fight for millions of dollars. I drive a shitty Holden Cruise. I live with my dad. I'm 30 years old, but I do what I love. I love it every day. I get up and I look forward to getting out of bed and going to training. And people think I'm crazy the amount I train, but I'm like, I just love what I do. So I have no issues with what I, whether I'm a millionaire or not. When I was staying, like, I travel the world, I stay in the shittiest of hotels, proper street level. Like, you'd be like, man, that's where you're sleeping next to a dead body sometimes. You're like, shit, man. Nah, seriously, man. Me and my brother, because we've done a lot of traveling, and but that's what it's all about, man. As long as you're having, like, as long as I'm happy, I don't care about money and stuff,
I was one of the things after speaking for a couple of people that know you.
Yeah.
They said exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
On the other hand, the reality is your next fight or the fight after that could be hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's and that's what I tell people. I say, look,
I'm not going to sit in front of you. The day the boss rings me and says, Tony, we've got $1 million. Oh, man, please, I don't care who we bring in, Thor, I'll fight him for $1 million. I don't care, man. Like, but what I'm saying is money shouldn't be the measure, but the thing is get what you're worth in life. That's a big thing. Don't get ripped off. Only suckers get ripped off. I ain't no sucker, you know what I mean? I'm a man, I'm not a sucker. So all I want is what I'm worth. Nothing more, nothing less. But I will take more if you do give it.
I mean, it's pretty. What you're saying is the facts of life are do what you love doing.
Yeah.
Never give up. Mm-hmm. Get what you're worth.
Yeah.
They're 3 key points that some people don't get their whole life.
But can I just say this quickly? I see so many people share about it, talk about it, but nobody does it. And that's my big thing. And that's why, like I told you, when I stood up in that 3rd round and I was just like, man, I can't win. But I'm a man of my word. I said that I'm going to fight like a Spartan to the death. So now I have to back up because that's the problem when you got a big mouth like me, you got to back it up. And sometimes it gets you in a lot of trouble, man. And it did that day. But that's why a lot of people, everyone sits there and goes, I just want to be happy. I want to be happy. I want a job that I love. But no one's doing a job they love. Everyone's miserable at their work. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people are. And I'm like, easy you can, but then I won't have that much money. Well, don't worry about the money, man. Stop focusing on the money,
I talk about it all the time where I've got plenty of mates with a shitload of money that are not happy.
Yeah.
And then I got plenty that have no money but are fucking happy.
Oh, man.
Like it's like because, there's a balance. You just need to find what your balance is. And sometimes your full-fledged paying job might not be what you love, but it pays the bills and you might be doing something on the side.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, you get to a stage what you want in life. And I see it all the time and I tell people all the time, like even with our business, it's like if someone's miserable, I'm like, man, we don't force you to come to work.
Yeah.
Like if you don't want to work here, go somewhere else that you enjoy because before you know it, your life's over.
It's 100%, man.
And it sounds so easy to say, but you're right. Most people actually don't find that mix of how what happiness or what being involved is something that you love doing.
Personally, from my experience, from why I think people don't do that is because they're so held down by the constraints of life, what they've been told is normal, and they're too scared to step outside the boundary. They're like, if I do something that deviates the plan, then everything's going to fall apart. I'm like, I've never had a plan. I wake up most days and I'm like, all I know is my training plan. That's all I know. We do jiu-jitsu on Wednesdays, we do kickboxing on Saturday. That's all I know. Training is the first thing I do, that I know about. The second, and then after that, it's like, well, what am I doing today? People ring me. Oh, hey, Tony, do you want to, even with this podcast, man, I was freaking out, man. I was like, they want to book me in, man. I can't do a booking. Like you see, I freak out. I can't even watch a movie because I don't do well with commitment. But that's probably why my girlfriend freaks out. Because I actually say this to her, but no, I do love you, Annalise. Up until this point, we'll see. Probably. But I can't. I hate because I don't know what I'm going to do, man. I think life is it should leave to spontaneous. Leave it to be organic and natural. And that's how I've always lived. And people find me very strange, but I love it, man. I love it.
I think it's hilarious. But you're saying what most people would actually don't say. What's a normal week? Like, is it 7 days training? Is it morning, noon, and night?
A normal week for me is so I do 6 days a week of main training, and then Sundays is usually a lighter day. I mean, my girlfriend go for a walk and get some coffee, and but there's always some form of training involved. Always,
every day.
Yeah, because you got to keep your mind trained as well. So I get up every morning on a Sunday, we go for a walk, rain, hail, or shine. It's freezing cold outside because you got to do it. Like the minute I'm in the belief of the minute you stop, that's when it can be all over. You got to keep that motor running. So that's how I do. I try and keep myself going all the time. Anywhere I can get a training session, I'm happy to do so. Even at airports, I bring my bands with me. I do my band work, push ups, sit ups. People think I'm crazy, but I love it, man. I just love training that much, And,
So you're absolutely training.
Oh, I got a gym in my house, like a full blown MMA gym in my house, and I'm planning to build even more. Like I love it that much. I go from a coffee machine, I walk straight out the door, and there's a full matted area, bags, everything.
Hang on, back it up. Coffee machine. Now I've been told you're a coffee fiend.
Yeah, I love coffee. To me is life. you know. But I love it. Like, I've been to Colombia, I've been to Ethiopia, I've been all over the world, like just for coffee. Like I flew to Ethiopia, man. Man, you thought Elizabeth was bad. Fuck. Elizabeth is like a Bel Air compared to Ethiopia. Sorry to all the Ethiopians out there. They claim their country's beautiful. It ain't, all right. Maybe the parts that they're in, but not where I seen was. Yeah, man. And that's look, through my life of traveling, that's where I got this concept of money and time, and it just all means nothing. All numbers and, you know, materials. Like when you've seen the world, and, you know, like us in Australia and Adelaide, we're wealthy, all of us. We're rich, man. We've got roofs, we've got 3 beds. Some people have houses. In the house, they've got a 3rd bedroom. It's a study. That's how wealthy these people are. What do you study? You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. What are you, a doctor or something? But anyway, you know, that, you know, when you're seeing things like Ethiopia, like I spent a lot of time in Thailand, beautiful people, beautiful country. And and I see these Thai people, and they're so happy all the time, and they're living in the, you know, in the streets, and they've got nothing. They're eating out of a bag, but they're always smiling. And I think, you know, it's all just a mindset. Like I come here to this beautiful country, and people are miserable. I haven't got enough. I need 7 cars, not 6. I'm like, fucking hell, bro. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
It's fucking so true, man.
Yeah, it is, man. I actually sit back. You know what my favourite thing in the world to do is to talk to normal people. See, I'm not normal. Neither is my brother Sav. My dad is definitely not normal. None of my family are normal. But when I sit down and I sit with a normal 9-to-5 person, you got their, you know, their couple of kids, and they give me their reality on life, I love listening to them, man. I love hearing, you know, the things they tell me and what they get up to on their normal days. And then I blow their mind and throw some, you know, stuff that I do on a normal day. And, you know, even my training, like I run. I'm trying to do every once a week for all year round. No matter what, rain, hail or shine, I'm gonna run just in my shorts, and I'm gonna test to see how far I can take my body. Like, because people say, oh, you need to put a jacket on or you're gonna get a cold. Okay, now I'm gonna put my diet up against your theory of I need to wear clothes to not get cold.
Well,
so now,
hang on. So you're running. Well, hang on.
Just in shorts. Just in shorts. No matter if it's raining outside. It's, you know, 5 degrees.
Right. Shoes.
Yeah, run with shoes.
Oh.
I used to run with barefoot shoes on, but it hurt my Achilles too much, so I had to go back to shoes.
Yeah, not enough cushioning.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, support on the. I think because once again, I think, you know, the reason why people make you wear t-shirts and jumpers in the cold is because we soften the body. You know, I think that's why our feet can't handle the barefoot walking. Well, think about it, man.
Do you listen to Wim Hof?
Yeah, man. He blew my mind, man. When I heard that guy, I was like, Wim Hof, you are the man. I fucking love him, bro. I love him.
But he talks about getting soft.
Yeah.
And, you know, animals in the wild, no matter what happens, you don't see them putting on coats.
They adapt.
They adapt, and their pH levels adapt. And the reason humans need that is because of exactly what you said. Well, you know, you look at us, we go from an air-conditioned, heated at the moment. It's a bit cold in Adelaide, a little bit. Not much, but we go from a heated car, walk out, oh, it's cold, into a heated house, you know, and he talks about your body is trained to do that. Yeah. And it learns very quickly.
The human body is so intelligent. Yeah. People don't realise how smart. That's why, like, this right here to me is food, like from the ground. This is where it comes from, man, organic. And that's what the body is. The body's organic. Nothing's synthetic in here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of girls out there now with synthetic things. You know, big one. Ask my brother about that. He loves it. They're his favourite. He talks about that all day to you, man. But the point is, the body is organic, so it needs and that's a big thing. Wim Hof, man, like, go out there and let your body feel the cold, and then it'll regulate. You know, people's blood, it thickens in the cold and thins in the warm. Yeah. You know, it's very intelligent, the human body, and you know, when I learned that sort of stuff, I was like, yeah, you can push I want to see how far I can push my body. Like, I don't have warm showers anymore, only cold showers, only.
Get fucked.
Yeah, only cold showers.
I do the shower, and then the last 30 seconds I go cold.
Nah. Yeah, I do it all cold. You know why? Because I think of a mindset of, you're going to laugh. My girlfriend always laughs at me.
You don't have showers with your girlfriend then?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I wonder if she would. I'm going to ask her. That one, actually. She's going to be so pissed off. Her mum's going to kill me. Nah, anyway.
Well, you're not fucking normal, mate. Don't worry.
No, I love it. That's why I say to people, I don't want to be normal, man. You know, being normal is not cool in my mind. So, yeah, I've cold showers because I think what happens one day when they don't give us warm water anymore? I'm ready, man. I've already had the cold showers. I'm ready to go. Yeah, I know it's a sick man, but you got to remember that I also climb inside of a cage and fight another man for money. So I'm not a normal person. Like that's not.
You don't need to.
Yeah.
You don't need to remind me of that because I don't. You can't, for someone to have the balls to go into a cage.
Yeah.
Or a fight or a boxing, whatever.
Yeah, anything. Yeah.
It takes a lot.
Yeah.
Guy, girl, I don't care who's doing it. It takes a lot. I don't have that.
Yeah.
I like boxing.
But the question
is... And I like kickboxing, but a little bit of light sparring. Mm-hmm. But, fucking getting hit.
Yeah.
Like,
I was the same as you, man.
Yeah, and I'm like, I like it as fun. But if someone said, like my mate always wants Jason Huntington, probably not listening, but every time wants to roll around. Every time I go, fuck, dude. And he'd fucking catch you off guard while you're drinking something. Drink goes in the air. I'm like, what? Are you like this with your friend?
Nah.
Oh my God. Nah. It's like Jace. Like, and he's got me right under here. It's very uncomfortable. It's fucking uncomfortable.
Funny, I very rarely will I put my hands on my mates because I don't like to. I can't be asked when I'm like this, like especially in my Nike. Don't touch me. Don't ruin my Nike tracksuit, man. I look cool. Don't be messing with my vibe. Anyway, but one time we're at a soccer game. Shout out to my boy Nicholas Bucco. We went to watch Adelaide City play Campbelltown, first game this year. And we've got this young, a mate of mine, Robbie's got a younger cousin. He just started hanging out with the group. And he's fresh to it all. He's very naive to the world. He's one of these new age ones he's the opposite of Wim Hof. You know what I mean? Yeah, they've been growing up through the TV and the computer. They tell them what, how life reality is. Yeah. But it's true, is it not? Well, I meet some people today.
Mate,
and their reality is so beyond what reality is. And this kid's one of them, Adrian. Adrian Danino, his name. Good kid, man. I like him. And he started to get physical with me at the soccer. I said, Adrian, stop, or otherwise it's gonna get bad for you. So then I ended up taking him down and choking him out cold on the cement and left him on the ground. Then he woke up and he's like, "What just happened?" I said, "Adrian, you just got taught a lesson, man. That's what happened, man." And my mates were all like, as if I did it within like 20 seconds. And my mates were all like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it." Like Robbie was laughing his head off. That's his cousin. He's like, "Adrian, don't mess around with Tony. He told you, warned you." And I taught him a lesson. He was just like amazed by it. So he started doing a bit of martial arts now. So Adrian, I hope you keep doing it. But that's how, when you get humbled in life, I think that's what martial arts does. It humbles us all, to realize that you aren't, who you think you are, but you can become that.
Yeah, I think you can. I look at it like there's always going to be someone with more cars. There's always going to be someone with a bigger boat. Mm-hmm. There's always going to be someone with more money.
Yeah.
You have to do it, believe in yourself and have that, which you clearly have, because there's no way I don't think you could enter the ring without having self-belief.
Oh, you have to, yeah.
But do you feel the pressure of your team? Like, because if you go to LA, Florida. So if you go to Florida, do you leave your, do you leave your team? Or do you have
as
to,
in
like,
here?
Yeah, like your brother. Is your brother coming?
Yeah,
He's not going to.
No, Sav's come once. He came once. That was a wild camp. That was a different one, man. Not going to lie. That was funny, that camp. Like, I'm waking up. And credit to him, man. We were talking about the other day. He really helped me in that camp. He videoed a lot of my sparring, came to all the training since he needed to. But then he was out doing his thing, picking up MILFs, man. He loves his MILFs, like rich mums in Florida. And there's heaps of them, man. And he was all over it. So he had a lot of appointments, man. It's true, but it's serious.
Oh man!
People listening to this probably think I'm lying, but yeah, it's him.
No,
man.
you. What I got told, they're like, "Oh, is his brother coming?" That's it. And I'm like, "What?" And then I started looking about it.
Yeah, he's crazy, man. But he's a lot of the inspiration of the person I am today is because of him. He sort of set me on this path many years ago. I was about, I was a young guy and I used to love footy, loved AFL. I wanted to play AFL. That was my dream. And I used to have pictures of James Hird and all that because I was a big James Hird fan. And he comes in my room one day and he's like, "What do you got these wankers on your wall for?" And I was like, "Who they are?" He's a legend, man. He's a sick footballer. He goes, "What do you want to look at that idiot for?" He's like, "Why don't you become the guy on the poster?" And from there, I was just like, he just blew my mind. It was the Gracie moment all over again. I was like, yeah. Like, why don't I become a Spider-Man or like a living legend that people can talk about? And that's when I just went on that path and I just never stopped since. And so a lot of even though he is crazy and he's a maniac and I can see why people wouldn't like him, I sometimes don't like him, but he is honestly he's like a revolutionist, man. He thinks of things way ahead of what other people are. It freaks me out because Yeah, he's half, a bit of a minder, and he's such a He is, man. Yeah,
in the nicest.
Yeah, in a nice way. But he's like a Jimi Hendrix, man. Like everyone said, Jimi Hendrix was crazy. Look at him and Bob Marley. They're Muhammad Ali. Until they became famous, everyone just thought they were wackos.
Yeah.
And then they revolutionized the world, and people have never forgotten. Many, many years they've been dead for now, and people still listen to their music and listen to what they say. I think there's a lot to be said in that.
Yeah.
Success leaves clues. Chattree, the boss who won at championship, he says that, and I believe in that. Success leaves clues, man, and you got to find those clues and make your own success.
So do you know, is there any contract in place? So you're moving to Florida, or you want to, for the Hard Knocks 365?
We were initially Hard Knocks, but now we've been returned to the Sanford MMA.
Okay.
That's what it's called now, but Hard Knocks Sanford MMA, yeah.
So do you have an idea? How does the fight come up? Like, for people listening that might know a thing about fighting, do you just sit and call people out on Twitter, or what? Can you call out Logan Paul? Is it Logan?
Yeah,
Is it?
I would love to get in the ring. I would love to put hands on those guys like any day. And I'd love to, because a lot of those guys, they're hyped up. They're just they're rich YouTube boys.
They're kind of clever.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Hats off to them for what they're doing with they're making bank, man. Good on them, man. It's like smart guys. It's more the guys like Floyd Mayweather that I'm embarrassed for. Like, Floyd, you're meant to be the greatest of all time, and you're fighting some idiot from YouTube. Like,
Is he fighting?
It's embarrassing.
What?
Yeah, it's embarrassing to what they're doing to the sport. They're borderline making like real fighting and WWE meet. You know what I mean? It's a bit of a showman.
Do you think it could be all rigged?
I do think, yeah.
Do you think Floyd
Where
would
there's
have
money,
the ego?
He would never dive. No. Flo would never lose. He would never. No. And if he did, man, he'd have to.
Imagine
depends how much he's been partying. How big's that bill got? You know what I mean? Is he how much debt is he in? You know what I mean? He might take a dive. That's why you're seeing guys like.
I didn't know this. I didn't realise Floyd Mayweather's agreed to fight him.
Is it official? Because I try to stay
Hell
away
no.
from it. I try to steer clear of it because I don't want to give it any
But
attention.
in saying that, Logan Paul, Jake.
Both of them, whoever. I'll take them on the same night. I don't really care, you know what I mean? Bring them in their posse as well. Give them a hiding as well. I'll bring my boys, you know what I mean? We'll do a tag team, me and Sav versus them. There you go. Brother, there you go. That's a good fight.
Brother, that's a good...
13 hours ago.
Oh, 13 hours ago, released.
Oh, yeah.
Both of them. He's going to fight both of them.
Oh, he's going to fight both? Floyd stole my idea. Damn, he got it 13 hours before me. I can't even sue him.
So if you do any fights get by calling someone out? No, it doesn't. Or is it? It's a whole.
It can happen that way. So, for instance, I can call you out, and then you can say something back to me, and then the bosses, the organisation will see that banter. If the audience likes what's going on, then they're going to make that fight because it's entertainment. They're going to want to see these two now duke it out, and that's the cool thing about fighting. You can call out who you want because you can sit down.
What about weight though? Like, you have to be similar weight or something.
Yeah. So you're going to call out someone. You'd be a fool if I was like to call out, Francis Ngannou, who just won the UFC heavyweight title.
Yeah.
The whole entire world would laugh at me. They'd go, that guy would hit you once and send you
To
straight.
say they can
he'd
hit
just
hard.
kill you. You know what I mean? So you call out someone in your division, roughly, who's within your reach. You're not going to go call out the champion on your first day. It's like getting a job at Drake's and going, I want to be CEO tomorrow. You're going, bro, just hit the registers and shut up, yeah? That's what you're going to say to them, yeah? You know what I mean? It's simple as that. Yeah, but it's true because that's what in this era we live in now, everyone wants to be the champion, but no one wants to do the championship work. So you got to put your nose, that you got to work hard, bum up, nose down and work hard. And when you get your chance, you take them. So for me, I'm just waiting for a fight in June, July. Yeah. And like I said, I'm going to hopefully get myself to America as soon as possible, living over there. And I'm ready to go at any time working with, arguably the best team in the world. Like the team that I work with in America is a dream come true. It's
so
like,
who would I know anyone at that gym?
Well, do you like UFC? How much? So Robbie Lawler?
Yeah.
He's in the team. Kamaru Usman?
Yeah, Osman, yeah.
Luke Rockhold?
Osman just fought
knocked out Masvidal.
He looks crazy.
Yeah. He's left now. He left the team now. He's training with another team. It was Gilbert Burns. You know Gilbert Burns?
No.
Well, he recently fought Gilbert. They're all from the same team. They fought each other. That's how good our gym is. That the guys are that good that they're fighting at a world championship level against each other. And they're in the same team.
So how do you get to go? Can you just go, hey guys, I'm coming. Here's my membership.
No,
That doesn't work.
So I luckily
here's my $100 a week. Nah, don't work like that.
Not that gym. That gym's like it's exclusive only for the best guys in the world or guys who are aspiring to be the best. You know, so we got to say as a squad of say 40 guys, and in that 40 guys, 70% of the team is signed to one championship, Bellator, UFC, PFL. You know, another 5 or 6 are past champions, another 2 or 3 are current world champions. So you're talking like this is a star-studded team. We've got guys like Michael Chandler. I'm not sure the guy who beat Dan Hooker and he's fighting for the title. He's fighting for the title soon. Rashad Evans, he's at the gym. Like when the first day I walked in there, I was just like,
So you've actually been there?
Yeah, I've trained. That's why I did my last 2 camps out of Sanford. I spent a lot of time there in Sanford. Guys like Linton Vassell, who's a heavyweight for Bellator, huge names. And when I first walked through that door, I was just like, I couldn't believe it. Like, I was trying to, play it cool, but you're looking at Robbie Lawler. Like, I seen him and I was like, man, that's Robbie Lawler. Like, he's one of the greatest to have ever done it. And I'm standing, and then to the point where, a couple of weeks down the track, he's coming up to you going, oh, hey man, do you want to spar? And you're sparring with Robbie Lawler, and you're like, man, I fucking love you. Like, I'm a huge fan. And he kicks you in the face, and you're like, yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, that was a surreal feeling. Of course, man.
Can you feel power from people?
Oh yeah. I've been hit by some guys, man. I'm like, whoa, what was that? But like the guy who actually got me into the gym, I met him many years ago in Liverpool. I used to live in Liverpool, England. Yeah. His name's Danny Roberts, very good friend of mine, and we stayed in very close contact. When I got signed, he offered me to come out to the gym, and he's one of those guys. When he hits you, you're like, whoa, like that's fucking real, man. Like, you don't want to mess around with that guy, he'll kill you. So some guys when they hit you, some guys, they're volume fighters, some guys are power hitters, and you got to know when you go in there. You just like with Danny, I just don't get near him because if he hits me, he's gonna hurt me. And I know that for sure, so I stay away from him. I just try and move around the ring a lot.
Give him a bit of a workout.
Yeah, it's it, because otherwise you stand in front of him, he's going to put your head through the other side of the fence.
So the whole idea of a sparring, like, they hit you, you're not hitting 100%? Or what's the rule? Is there the unseen?
There is the unspoken rule of, look, man, don't knock me out, I won't knock you out. Some guys, they never got that memo, and they're just like, I don't care who you are. Like, Danny's that guy. Danny's your best mate. You walk in, you're friends with him. As soon as that bell rings, everyone in there's like, no one go near Danny because he's going to try to knock you out. Well, that's Danny. He's a tough guy. He's just a madman, He's a great fighter in the UFC. He's a welterweight in the UFC, and he's a tough guy, man. But yeah, there is that unwritten law, like, come on, let's look after. We've only got a certain amount of brain cells. Yeah. Let's not waste our time knocking each other out in here. Let's do it in the cage.
So that's that, because I always wonder what the sort of rule was.
Well, it just really depends on the gym. It depends on the gym, because some gyms in the Netherlands, they're very well known for guys get KO'd once a week. Like, they don't care. Where in Thailand, they spar every day and no one ever gets hurt. So there are a lot of theories on how to train. The Thais do it one way, then you got the Dutch who do it another way, the Americans, the Russians, everyone's doing it different. Yeah.
Who's the Russian dude that wrestles with a bear?
Khabib Nurmagomedov. Yeah, he's sick. Yeah. Well, he's 29-0. That's unheard of. Like, for me to be 7-0 was pretty cool. Like, but he's 29-0, and like 14 of those fights or more maybe have been within the UFC. So he's fought the best guys for the past 10 years, and no one's beat him. He's only ever lost 2 rounds in his career. Like, that's amazing.
2 rounds.
2 rounds.
So what's that bullshit with the wrestling with a bear?
No, there's a video of him. He's wrestling as a child with a bear. They do it often in Dagestan. They're mad. I know a lot of Dagestani boys because I train a lot with them in Thailand. They're crazy. These people, they're not like us. We talk about being soft. They didn't get the memo either. None of this soft in Dagestan. They're crazy, man. You got to see those boys in Thailand, and you end up sparring with them. It ends up turning into like a full fist fight out in the car park. Every time you're like, man, so you don't spar with them anymore. They're crazy, man. My brother had a guy in an armbar once cranking it, and the guy's screaming. My brother's like, man, tap. He's like, I don't tap. He's like, we're training. He's like, no, I don't tap. My brother's like, yeah, whatever, man. I'm just going to go with somebody else. Like, that's how these guys, they're mad. They're tough boys, man. They don't mess around.
So let's talk about Sanford MMA. You know, it would have been a bit of difference coming from the Elizabeth gym.
Yeah.
Heading out to hang out into a space where you're literally trying to produce world champions.
Yeah. You're there for one reason. You're not there to just get a sweat on. You're there to be the next big thing.
So they're not interested in dudes that want to be fit and
No, that's for down the road. And Henry was just telling me like move on.
Yeah.
Like Henry, the coach there he's an awesome coach and an awesome guy to be around. The guy's probably watched over 1,000+ fights live. You know, he's cornered thousands and thousands of fights, high level world title fights. So yeah, he's a very interesting character to be around, and someone to have met is an honour to even just fight for his team, to have myself representing Sanford MMA, to be under Henri Hooft was a pretty big honour for me, and then all the coaches down there like Greg and Cammy and all that.
So with all the coaching, I'm assuming you have person for striking, person for grappling, person for kickboxing. Is there a whole suite of people that you're allowed, or how do you get to, what happens if you don't like one of them?
Yeah, you can pick it. So you've got your main team, and that's where you come in, you meet the gym, you meet the guys. But then say if, Henry's the kickboxing coach and Greg and Cammy, they're more the grappling coaches. Then you've got Wagner and Gilbert who are doing a lot of the jiu-jitsu. But, you might have another outside jiu-jitsu coach and another outside kickboxing coach.
Okay.
Because maybe his style doesn't adapt to you too much, or maybe you want to get extra work in. And Henry's a very busy guy. He's got, like I said, a stable of 40 guys to look after. So he can't always hold pads for you and teach you and help you. So he's a busy man. He's going to obviously give his time to the world champions first, and there's a pecking order. And so if you want to get extra work, and I have a boxing coach who we work with outside of the gym, Chuck. He works with a lot of the fighters, so we do a lot of our boxing with him and stuff like that. Yeah.
So when you're working at that gym, like it's a whole day of exercise, or you smash out an hour in the morning? I mean,
we do 2 sessions a day. We do it usually in the morning. It's a lot of like just technical MMA sort of style training. We don't learn much. That's one big thing that I found strange when I got there. There's minimal learning. It's about like a minute of they tell you what we're doing, what we're looking for, and straight into it, because you're expected to know. This is a professional gym. If you don't know how to do a double leg, you're gonna have to leave the gym. So we go straight in, a lot of technical stuff. Wednesdays we do very, very heavy wrestling session. That's the most brutal session of the week. Everyone's like, dreading that. Yeah, that's the big one. Like you get in the morning and Greg's that wrestling mentality is a whole nother thing. They're crazy, those guys. So that's a hard day. We've got sparring on Tuesday, Thursday afternoon. We lift on Wednesday, Fridays. Yeah, we just got the one thing I got to love about that team is such high level guys and huge gym, but the atmosphere, everybody is around each other, everybody's supporting one another. There's like a big group chat, everyone's always messaging, encouraging each other for fights, and yeah, it's a really, really cool atmosphere to be amongst some of the best guys in the world. And to a lot of the gyms, I see in Adelaide, like even in Adelaide in general, I get nowhere near as recognition from people that, when I'm in the States with those guys, they'll message me after the fight, and these guys are like big names on Bellator and UFC, and they're like, all the best for your fight.
How'd you go?
And stuff like that. So to me, it was very humbling when I done that, and seeing that team environment, I just love being a part of it.
So you made a comment before, hey, over here we got all the fights, but you can't take fights because you're here.
Yeah.
So you got to get your ass over there. So if someone's someone pulls out.
Yeah. Well, it's more like they usually give you. Sometimes they give you a 6-week notice. Sometimes 8 weeks. Sometimes they give you a 3-week notice. So unfortunately, I missed out on a huge opportunity about a month ago to fight on 3 weeks' notice, and I was like, look, they wanted me to fight the world number 5, and I was like, look, guys, by the time we get to America, I was sick at the time. I was going through a few things back home. I was like, look, it was just the worst timing in the world.
Yep.
I'm fortunate to turn the fight down. Another guy stepped in for me, beat that guy, and ended up. Then got an opportunity after that fight. Eddie Alvarez had do you know Eddie Alvarez?
That name rings a bell.
Eddie used to be in the UFC.
I want to see what it looks like.
He used to be the UFC and Bellator world champion, and that guy, because Eddie, his fight, there was a disqualification. So
because of weight? Or?
No, when he was in the cage, they were fighting, he hit the guy in the back of the head accidentally, and they'd disqualify him, and then they turned the fighter. Anyway, he wanted to fight again straight away because it ended in within a minute, that Eddie's fight. Okay. So he goes, I want to fight again. So they said, the winner of the fight between Gaffarov and Oku, the guys I was meant to fight. You get the fight.
Okay.
And so that, unfortunately, I turned that fight down. That would have been me, and I would have had that opportunity. I would have fought Eddie Alvarez, last week. But that's something that I've got to live with, and that's why now I'm actively really pushing to get myself in America. I've only got myself to blame, so I'm the only one who can fix that problem. So now I'm working on changing
okay,
that.
I know who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think of those, I guess those moments are sliding door moments, right? Where it's, okay, I could have been there, but, I wasn't. But do you see that there's plenty more time? I mean, at the age of 30, you seem like you've got the right mindset to say, hey, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
I've got, 7 years maximum, I'm assuming, to have a crack.
Yeah.
What do you... Yeah.
Just that's it. That's why now, I just sat down for a minute, thought about it, and I thought, well, the thing that held me back was I wasn't with my team quick enough. So the only way to change that is I'll just go move to America.
Yeah.
Look, it's going to be shit. I'm going to miss all my friends, my family. I've got a great life here in Florida. I've only really know my teammates, no one else. You know what I mean? But in saying that, it's sometimes something I really want too, because when I'm in America, I don't have to worry about nothing but training. I just worry about get up, go to training, go home. That's all I care about. So that was my big thing: get to America. Take those fights that I know that I can get offered, and like I said, make a run at this world title, because I really believe that. I got a chance at winning that world title. In deep down, for years now, I tried to run away from it, like I told you earlier. But now I'm at a realization that who are these guys any better than me? They're human, I'm human. Only one way to find out, and that's to get in there and then put it all on the line. So I'm super excited for the next chapter of my life to get into America and I make a full-time crack at this. No more messing about.
So when you're over there, which let's say you're going to be over there by June.
I hope so, yeah.
All right, that's June, July. Then fingers crossed you get a fight before the end of the year. Mm-hmm. Fingers crossed it's with Jake Paul or someone. And that will set you up forever.
Yeah.
But, is there enough money in the sport to be able to just do this, or is it just enough enough to get through? Need some sponsors. Need the old man. Yeah. Is that how it is? Because that's how it's the only way I look at it. It's like any professional sport. Formula One, the top guys, cool, but not even the guys in the bottom of the field. The top of the field, they're set. I look at soccer. The top of guys, they're set, but that's this many people.
Yeah, no, it is. And unfortunately, that's what it is in fighting. It is real. I have to work a part-time job. I train people. Sometimes I do a bit of private sessions for people. And I'm lucky that I got great sponsors around me, great people who help me. Like I said, I sacrifice a lot too. That's what people don't realize and see as well. They see what I do via social media. The most pathetic form of anything is social media. But people go, "Oh my God, you live the best life, Tony. I wish I could do your life." Yeah. I said, well, you can. You got to jump inside of a cage. Do you want to do that? That's what I thought anyway. So, because
that's the thought that goes through that.
Yeah, because it's like I said earlier, everyone wants to be the champion, but no one wants to do the championship work. And so, I'm lucky that I've got great sponsors around me, a lot of sacrifice. Like I said, I'm 30 years old. I still live at home. I mean, according to the system, I'm the biggest loser of them all. You know what I mean? Well, I am, I'm not married. I'm 30 and I still live with my father. Come on. I mean, that's not a good on your resume. But that's what I sacrifice a lot, and I'm lucky I got a great family around me. My girlfriend's understanding of it all. And, I got, like I said, amazing sponsors who've always looked after me, helped me chase my dreams, and but they see what the work I put in too. That's why they believe in what I do, because, like I said, I don't just talk it, man. I get in there and I do my job, and they love it for it, and I'm helping them, I guess, spark a passion in themselves as well. So that's why I love what I do as well. So
when we talk about cutting down weight for a fight, and I for some reason I'm literally 80, no matter what. When I was training a lot, I was 75 and looked pretty lean, watching what I eat. Now I just have a drink and I eat. I kind of watch what I eat, but I won't miss an opportunity. So if someone takes me out to dinner, I'll eat. But it seems to stay very consistent. Yeah. How do you actually drop? How does someone drop 5 kilos?
It's exactly like you said. So, and like I said earlier,
and is there benefit? If I'm 88 kilos and my weight's at 80, what's the benefit of being 88
and coming down.
And coming down.
Well, the only benefit is that if it's done correctly. So, like, you even yourself, I mean, we're quite lean guys as it is.
Yeah.
We're not going to drop down to 60 kilos because that's going to literally, like, you're going to have to take our soul out. Yeah. And then when we go to perform, how can I perform? I can't even, lift my hands up. I'm so tired. Yeah. So, when you've got proper nutritionists and doctors around you and you do your own research on yourself and you go, all right, look, like right now, I used to walk around at 88, dropped to 77.
Yep.
And I used to make it pretty comfortably. But then I really looked into my diet and changed everything. And now I walk around at anywhere from 83 to 81. And that 77 cut is super easy for me now. My last fight camp, I was actually underweight. I had to eat to keep my weight up. So it's just like you said, now all those opportunities you get to go out and have a meal, you got to turn them down. It's the sacrifice you got to make.
Yeah. You
got to be like, oh, you guys want to come over for a drink? Nah, I can't. Or do you guys want to have an extra? You want to cannoli? Nah, I can't, man. I'm gonna fight soon. You got to be very diligent on everything. You can't mess around.
So you've watched there's a UFC show. I forgot what it's called.
Embedded?
No, the camp ones. Like
the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And you watch how much they have to cut weight. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It'd be a bit weird, a whole house of fighters. Yeah. I mean, that must be a weird...
A lot of testosterone.
Oh, that must be weird in itself, asking for trouble.
Yeah.
But you see how hard it takes them to lean down, like, constant saunas in these sweatsuits and that... I don't know. I understand how you could drop a few kilos, but 10?
Yeah, but you got to remember, your body's made up of 80% of water. Yeah. So that's what they're doing. They're literally draining the very fluids out of their body that the body needs and requires to get there. So they're stripping everything. It's very dangerous. What they do is, that's why one championship, we're the only organisation with that we have to weigh in 2 days in a row before the fight. We have to pass a hydration test.
So what's a hydration? How do they? What, your colour of your piss is yellow?
Yeah, essentially, you piss in a cup and they put a thing in it. If it comes out hydrated, it's hydrated. If it's not, then you failed the weigh in and you have to go and hydrate. But then your weight's going to go up as well, so it's very hard. So you just naturally have to make weight. That's what you have to do. So it's a safer way because then everyone's forced to go up a weight division because it's impossible to, I could maybe make 155. But it'd be very hard work for me to get there. But in a natural way, there's no way I could do it. There's no way I could make 155. I'd have to go on a real extreme diet.
So I'm assuming you got poached for one.
Well, actually, the funny thing is, it's a very odd story of mine because once again, like I said, I'm the only guy from the city to doing what I'm doing. I'm the only one who's ever made it to the big leagues, and I'm sort of sitting there 7-0, and I'm like, how do you get into the UFC? How do you get to Bellator? How do you get to one championship? How do you do this? And I'm thinking to myself, well, look, I haven't had many jobs in my life. I'm Italian. We don't work too hard, Nah. I can say that I'm Italian. That's not racist. All right. So I'm also Greek, so I got the best of both worlds. I can pay them all out, those daggers. No, anyway. So I was like, how am I going to get signed to to a major organisation? So my friend Alan Philpott was fighting in Singapore, and he's like, Tony, can you come to Singapore with me? I want you to corner me. He was on the One Championships version of the Ultimate Fighter, the Contender Series.
Okay, so they have one as well.
He was fighting for a contract. He goes, Tony, do you mind coming over and cornering me in Singapore? No one else can come with me. I said, yeah, I'd love to go on holiday, whatever. Any chance to get on a plane, I'm on it. So I jumped on a plane with him, flew to Singapore, and I messaged a mate of mine he owns a big gym in Thailand. I said, boy, can you reach out to Chatri, that's the boss of One Championship? I said, and let him know that I want to have a meeting with him. And he was like, oh, okay, you want to have a meeting? Yeah. I said, yeah, tell him that I'm interested to sign with him. Because like I said, I had no idea how to do it.
See how you do it. That's ring the boss.
All this stuff. Said, I want to go talk to him myself. That's how I do things, that's how I want to do it. So they organised the meeting. I remember when I went up to this it was like a big gangster building, proper, man, like Singapore, you're talking like creme de la creme. I'm thinking, well, check-ins, securities everywhere. I'm thinking, where the hell are proper, out of the movies, you know what I mean? I was like, all right, this is cool. Went up to the elevator. We're sitting in this big office, big One Championship wall. So, I walk in, the receptionist is like, oh, hello, I'm Antonio Caruso. I'm here to see Chatra. And she was like, what's your name? She's like, Antonio. I was like, looking through. I'll just wait. You got to take a seat for a second. Take a seat. She comes up, Antonio, yeah. I was like, yeah. She's like, Chatru's, he'll be with you in a minute. I'm thinking, these people even know who I am, what I'm doing here? So I'm thinking to myself, my mate says he hasn't even
He
told
just
anybody.
said go.
So I've messaged my boy, like, bro, did you get me a meeting or not? He's like, yeah. Anyway, I see Chatra in the board meeting with all the guys. I'm thinking, oh, cool, he's in there. At least I'm in the same vicinity as him. So I'm sitting there waiting. And next thing, this guy walks in the room after me, probably a good half an hour after I was in the room. He comes in. And within about 20 minutes, they grab him and bring him into the meeting. And I'm thinking, oh, man, I was here before him. That's how it works, Hey, I was here first. Why don't you call me in? Anyway, another 20 minutes go by, and we were meant to catch a plane soon. And my Alan and Lee, they're like, Tony, like, funny thing is, one's from Northern Ireland, one's from Liverpool. The funniest accents ever. Oh, that's how they talk. You can't even understand them. Funny stuff.
It's true.
It's legit. Like, you were talking and I was like, they're talking to me, yelling at me, come on, Tony, we're going to miss the flight. I said, don't worry about it. Relax, I got this. Next thing you know, they're like, Chatra's like, he's waiting for you. Go. So I wait in the board meeting, boardroom, and I'm waiting. Really cool office, having a look around. And next thing he walks in, I'm like, hey, Chatra, my name's Antonio Caruso. And he goes, he walks in, and he goes, hey, guy, man, what's your name? Who are you? And I was a bit like, my name's Antonio Caruso, I'm here. And he goes, yeah, what are you doing here? And I was like, I want to fight for one championship. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, look, man, I'm 7-0. I said, and I want to fight for the best organisation in the world. I want to test myself against the best fighters in the world. I said, I want to fight one championship. And he goes, all right, take a seat. So we sat down and started talking. Tell me about yourself, tell me about your life. What do you do? What do you like? Having a good chat. And he just got up and he goes, all right. And he goes, I'm going to get you a contract. Just wait here. And I was like, what? I turned around at Alan and Leah. They're like, oh, fucking hell, right, he's fucking said it like like, that was me. I couldn't believe it because I was in shock. I was like, oh, man, how did I convince this guy to give me a contract? And my mates are like I said, I'm cracking up there, yelling, screaming. And he comes back in. He's like, here you go, man. He goes, here's my card. He goes, we're going to get you a contract. We're going to get you on fighting for one championship. And I was like, I said to him, thank you very much. It was an honour. I said, and I won't let you down, man. I said, this is what I'm like destined to do. Something crazy in my life's meant to have happened. So, now we get to go through one championship and do it together. So that's how I did it, man. And many people freak out when I tell them that story because a lot of guys, they're managers and this and that. I said, nah, man, I'm going there myself, man, because, a lot of people, like I said to you earlier before, gone are the days where people just shake your hand, look someone in the eye anymore. We don't do that anymore. And, the generation before us, man, it's a big thing to a lot of those people. And I knew if I can shake this man's hand, look him in the eye and tell him that I want to do this, I know he'll respect me a lot more than if I just send him an email. Because he gets an email every day. Yeah. You won't forget the kid that walked in his office and, asked him for a contract. Now that I've told that story, probably everyone's going to start knocking on his door. So I'm sorry. But, things in life, if you want them, you got to go and seek them sometimes, And I was scared, like I really was. Even with signing that contract, I was like, man, do I really want to do this? And I was like, man, fuck it, man. And what's the worst that can happen? Like, I lose. Who cares, man? Like, and I just signed it and said, let's rock and roll. And now it's taken me all over the world. And like I said, I'm training at such an amazing gym and met some amazing people. Got to fight in Singapore, fighting in Jakarta, underneath some of like the guys I look up to as heroes, and they're my teammates and friends. I fought on cards with them and, watch them defend their world titles. And it's just, but that's why I love martial arts. We're going back all the way back to the start. This is why I love martial arts, because it's what it gave me. Like, I'm a kid from Salisbury. Like, let's be honest, man, I don't deserve anything. Like, I come from a shitty school, nothing. No one ever made anything of themselves out of that school. And I was like, the stuff I get to do with my life now, I'm in shock of it myself sometimes. Like, when I got to Ethiopia, I was like, fuck me, man, where have we come to this? And we were sitting there having coffee, me and my brother, and just the amazing things we've done. And, and it's not going to stop. If it wasn't for COVID-19, I'd probably be somewhere in the world right now running amok. But, they put a hold on that for now, but it's not going to stop us. My brother's planning on building a boat, and he says he's going to sail to places. That's what he tells me. So he's on the garden at the moment. That's his job at the moment.
He probably will.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he says it. He'll probably do it. But that's my life. That's my philosophy. That's why I'm upset I didn't take that last fight, because I'm a guy who tries everything, and I missed that opportunity. It's killing me every day, but I'm the only person to blame. And I'll fix that problem. And then by moving to America and taking a huge risk and moving myself over there during this time, which is daunting, to honestly, when I don't know if you've flown international. Have you flown international since COVID?
Not since COVID.
Yeah.
No.
Since, I don't know if anyone in this room, no one has, no, because it's a very different world out there.
Yeah.
When I flew to America last time, it was probably the most. This is what it was like in the airport. I'm sitting in an airport with this is how many people would get on the plane.
Yeah.
You're on an international flight with 20 staff on there, but four people on the plane. It was honestly super strange, and it was very like eye-opening and mind-blowing, just the stuff I would see and do. Like when I landed in Singapore, they rush you into the hotel. You got to go through like certain elevators. You're not allowed to touch anything. You know, when you go over, you got to be escorted everywhere. It was strange. It was very different. It was an amazing experience, you know, but very weird experience at the same time.
So, you can go to America now? No, like, can you actually leave?
I think like last time I flew to America, I needed I need an exemption from the government. They need to allow me to leave. They need to I had to buy the ticket, show that I had a fight contract and a reason to leave, and then they would let me.
Okay. So with a contract to the one championship, what's that mean? Like,
so you're just exclusive to that organisation.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So yeah, you're just exclusive. It's like I was saying before. I'm in the EPL. I'm signed to Chelsea. By the end of the year, I could get traded to Inter Milan and totally be in another country, different fans, different audience.
Yeah.
And essentially, that's the only difference. Yeah.
So it's more. I thought it was more Asian.
Yeah,
based.
it is. It's the biggest. It's just only in Asia at the moment, and it's by far the biggest. They record numbers like 72 million people watching an event. It's crazy numbers. Like when we go to those countries, I've been to the Philippines with my friend Martin, who defended his world title. You got to see the crowds. They're just in awe of it. You know, cameras everywhere. That's when I was like, wow, man, this is cool. Like I went to my first press conference with them, and that was the first time I went over with Martin. And yeah, just to see the people and the way they line up, and they just want to, they want to take photos. They didn't even know who I was, just because I was standing next to Martin. I was some white guy, and they're taking photos of me. You just feel like a rock star. And you're like, this is amazing, and I want to keep chasing that feeling. And yeah, I was lucky enough. I brought my brother with me. I brought my friend Eddie, my girlfriend, and my brother Diego came. We were all in Manila, and they got to see it. And they were even like, because they see me. I was sitting with all the fighters, and they could see all the media and that going crazy, and they were just like, man, Tony, this is so cool. Like, you're about to do all this. So when I got to do it myself in Jakarta, it was surreal, man, to walk out in front of thousands of people, and everyone wants to get a photo with you. You go from, no one, like, I can walk around Adelaide. Most people don't know. They only know me as Sub's brother. But, I don't mind. And I don't blame him. I can see why. The guy, he's a rock star, man. But, when you go to those countries, they're in awe of you, because I think it's the Asian mindset. They see fighting as like a superhero. They see us as like martial artists. Where in Australia, we're still very frowned upon. We're very like thuggish. They think of bikies. They think of gangs. And I go, I can't stand that stuff. I hate gangs. I hate all that stuff. Tattoos and hot shots. I get it. I wouldn't want to even stand near those people in a nightclub. I would rather stand at the bar by myself, because I think as a martial artist, you learn to stand on your own 2 feet, because everything you want to do, you want to be able to do it yourself. You want to bring people with you. You want to have your entourage, as they would say. But yeah, if I'm ever to get myself in trouble, I'm able to get myself out of it. I don't need no gang to back me up. You know what I mean? So that's learned through martial arts. So that's a big thing. I'm an advocate in Australia. Is I want people to look at fighters just as they would see as a footballer. No offense to any of the footballers and ball players out there. Most of them, they're out there partying every night, drinking piss, snorting coke. Most of us fighters, man, we're staying home, looking after our family, and getting up the next morning to train harder, because we can't afford to go have a party. Like if we party for 2 nights and then go and rock up to a fight, we're gonna get knocked out. Those guys, they don't care. They're on $500,000 for the next 3 years. They don't really care. For us, if we lose one fight, they'll scrap our contracts. See you later, get out. You know what I mean? So we can't afford to do that stuff. So for me in Australia, I want fighters to be seen as the role models that we are. You know what I mean? Like don't get me wrong, there are some bad dudes out there, but we really are I think the role models that kids should look up to. I wish that all schools had martial arts in them. some form of discipline, even if it's not so much physical martial arts, like a taekwondo, even to teach.
Maybe Cobra Kai.
Oh, sorry, I spat there. That's the Dago in me coming out. But yeah, honestly, but look, that's where it gets a bit shady. Then they bring in Cobra Kai McDojos, and then you got these, that's what they are, man. They are, I'm telling you.
Oh, that's good. I like that. McDojos.
Yes.
So let's well, if you need like a mental coach, I reckon I'd be good at that.
Yeah, mental
positive reinforcement.
I know, but as soon as I seen you, I was like, that's my guy, man, because you just want to laugh. I can see you, but you're just here for a good time. That's how I hate sitting in a room and everyone's super serious. It's like everyone just lighten up, man. Tell a joke, man. Even I take the piss out of myself just to cool the room down, man.
That's me.
Everybody's here.
That is me. So just think about that for your next one.
Yeah, maybe in the corner.
I'll fly over there.
I'll get you in the corner. What do you reckon?
I'll get in the corner. I've watched enough.
Yeah.
Turn around, hit him. Cover up. See?
Fuck, you got it already. There you go.
I've got it. What has been your biggest fight so far?
My last one, when I fought Edward Falang, who I was honestly a huge fan of, massive fan, love Edward Falang, watched all of his fights, and then they called me one day and they're like, you want to fight Edward Falang? And I was like, man, the fighter hero of mine would be amazing. And yeah, I got to fight him, and he's a 2-time world champion. He's essentially you got Manny Pacquiao, then you got Edward Falang in the Philippines. That's their icons. Manny Pacquiao's obviously, he's like a god there, but Edward Falang is huge. And yeah, I got to fight him, and the amount of Filipinos that messaged me after and were sending me, messages and sending me love. And it was crazy. So to fight that guy was an honor. To be in the same cage as him was an honor. And yeah, that was definitely my biggest fight. Yeah.
So that was in 2020.
Yep. Yeah, October.
So what was going? How were you there? That was during COVID?
Yeah, that's when I flew, and I got to see all that crazy stuff, man. I got to see the wacky world we live in now.
So when was that? Was that early?
October 30.
So that's right.
Yeah, like right in the smack bang
right
in the
middle.
Yeah, like I said, I was on flights legit with this many people on it, flying around the world.
So with that fight, you won that fight.
Yeah, that's
and then I saw a photo. You were having a photo in it must have been a hotel. You guys were staying at the same hotel.
Yeah, they put us in the same hotel.
So do you talk what happened? I mean,
because what I do when I fight, I like to swap T-shirts with them. I like to give them my T-shirt, and hopefully in return they'll give me theirs. Because to me, it's a memory. It's like you've went to war together, and it's a sign of respect to one. That's why I do. Even my one I lost, that was a hard one to do. But I still went up to the guy and said, "Look, man, it's an honor. You kicked my ass at it yesterday, man. Like, here's my T-shirt. Like, no, if I don't want to hang out with you too much, you just beat me up yesterday. I'm pretty upset. But I respect you here's the honor of." And he gave me his T-shirt, and we shook hands, we took a photo together, and same with the other guy with Edward. Like, we've done the same thing. We swapped T-shirts. I even bought a pair of their shorts because that's how much of a fan I was of him. So I got him hanging up in my gym. I was like, yeah, but I fought that guy. So yeah, but that's how much I love martial arts. But at the end of the day, everyone's different. Some guys will laugh and talk about it. Some people don't even want to talk to you after. But hey, it's understandable. You took money out of their mouth. You know what I mean? So they're like, whatever.
So do you see it as with fighting? You have your fight, and what happens? Pre. Is there any guys you have like a rivalry with, or is it you don't know these guys well enough, other than the press conference, you might not even bloody speak to these people.
There's no one really in the world that I have beef with. Legit beef. Like, I don't know these people, you know what I mean? Like, they've never done nothing wrong to me and my family. They can call me whatever they want. I just laugh. I'd actually love to fight Conor McGregor because I'd love the press conference. I'd love for me and him to just pay each other out. I'd love it. It'd be funny. Like, guys like him and Tyson Fury, I love them. I think they're so funny, man. Like, just to listen to, I could listen to them all day, like, talk absolute trash. I think it's so, like, Nate Diaz, all those guys.
Nate Diaz is...
Yeah. I love him.
He's pretty funny because he comes off so hillbilly.
Yeah, but they are. They're there. See, that's what I mean. Like, you do have guys like me who are just there to fight and have some fun. But he's the sort of guy that he once, his brother Nick Diaz fought a guy called Diesel. I can't remember his full name. And they fought. There was like a proper war. Then they went to hospital. And then Nick Diaz is trying to fight him at the hospital. They're holding him back. He's holding him down on the bed. He's trying to get up the fight. There's some guys that are just crazy, man. They are. Like, I've seen, trust me, like me, I'm a ring fighter. I get in there, I like to do my stuff in the ring, get paid for it. Yeah. Like, people like my brother, he doesn't want no ring. He just wants to fight you in the car park, man. And that's what Nick Diaz. See, they're the guys who like got the ring and the street fight. They fight at press conferences all the time, and yeah, they're mad, man. They smoke joints while they train in front of cameras. They'll be hitting pads like the day before their fight, smoking weed. I'm like, these guys are crazy. Like, I love that. That's what I love about fighting too. Like, still there's original personalities. We're living in a world now where like everyone's so scared to do and say anything. I don't say that. Even with my brother, people used to always freak out. Aren't you scared you're gonna lose your job? I'm like, why would I lose my job? Because my brother likes to play his guitar in his jocks, you know what I mean? Like, why would I lose my job over that? Like, they're like, yeah, they're two separate people, I think everyone's just so scared of like rules and regulations and this and that. I'm just like, yeah, whatever, man.
There's no doubt And I think I go across the line of like what's, we still have a billion-dollar business, and it's a fine line between, it's a little bit, do corporates do that? Well, but corporates don't have no souls.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
Anyone that knows our business, they know my old man. Like the irony is we're very similar.
Yeah.
Like, and I think if I was Dad back then, I'd be the same. But if Dad was me now, he'd probably be using cameras and like.
Yeah. You're just you've got technology behind you now.
I'm just using the stuff there. That's, one of the big things we film is so we can connect to a younger crowd.
Yeah.
And
I love it that, even a business like yours, there's a face to it. We are living in a world now where the corporations, you wouldn't have no clue who owns Woolworths and Coles. You know what I mean?
And you don't. And it's funny that you pick up on it without even knowing it.
Yeah, yeah.
So for us, I think the correctiveness is a little bit crazy. But where does it end?
Yeah.
Like, I saw a piece the other day with they want to take out the scene where the prince kisses Snow White when she's because she didn't consent. It's like, well, fuck. Like you can't. How much you can't go. There were slaves.
Yeah. We can't ignore the past.
The Holocaust did happen.
Yeah.
You can't just hang on, guys, that wasn't good. It didn't happen. You can't keep going back and changing.
Because if we delete history, then we may make the same mistakes again in our future. We must realise what we've done
You've got
wrong.
lots of saying, mate. Do you realise? Do you realise how many you have?
No, because I'm an idiot, man.
Dude,
I wear Stone Cold Steve Austin
you have
shit.
so many. Like they're great.
But it's true, man. Because and I'm with you. But let me just say this: they delete the Snow White thing. The whole thing with the coon cheese saga. Like, come on, guys. Let's just realise that maybe is someone's name, and let's respect that. That's what I'm saying. Let's respect the family and let them live with honour. But instead, we live in this world where people just want to make the news. They want 10 seconds of fame. Get me on the news for any once again, first world problems. Yeah. I was saying to these guys earlier about vegans. First world problems. You think in Ethiopia they're waking up going, oh, I didn't like the way that they addressed each other on the TV. No, they're going, man, where's that food? I need to get some and some fresh water, man. You know what I mean? That's all they give. We're living in a world now. We're so wealthy. We've got nothing better to do. So what we do is we just sit around and argue about dumb shit like vegans but I was saying to these guys, they're like the vegans. This is one of my favourites, right? My friend, he's a vegan. He's gonna hate this. He's gonna be sick. My friend Lee Jenkins, shout out to him. That's the Liverpool guy. He lives with me. We live together.
Okay.
And he's a vegan, all this, and he sits down and he raves on about how he's helping the animals and he's a good bloke. But then I'm like, Lee, do you realise you're wearing Nike? You have an iPhone. Do you know who makes those things for you? Slaves, yeah? Slaves. I'm like, so before you think you're doing this big social justice, you're not, man. We're all involved in this world. We're living in this happy society in this rich world. Oh. And we don't know what's going on behind, and that's how we like it. We don't want to see it. So long as we don't see it, we're good people. That's what's happening.
Well, people only want to see what they want to see.
Yeah, and that's 100% right, man. That as long as it doesn't affect their flow and their life, they're happy to just keep on doing it.
If you really cared.
Yeah.
Like, I love Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but he's doing all the stuff for the Greenpeace and whatnot. And one of the things he said he'd stop doing was flying his jet.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. He's a good bloke, man. Well done, mate. Well done. You're a brave soul, my friend. You're a brave soul. Is that he will stop flying it, or like he'll just have a pilot do it now? You know what I mean? I'm still gonna get in the plane.
But this is the situation we go down. The scene is the same scene. It's just in a different makeup.
Yeah.
And you're right. People can be connected to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's amazing that you actually organised a meeting with the boss to say, hey, this was my case.
Yeah.
And he would have had no fucking idea who you are.
Yeah,
but
you know what I mean?
who you are now.
Yeah, exactly. That's what and that's one of my biggest things I want to do through my career is, like I said earlier, man, I'm just a kid from Salisbury. The coffee machine and a gym. That's all I had, man. I'm literally in my grandma's house with this coffee machine and a gym, and I made it all the way to the world scene just because I never gave up, man. I was like, man, I'm just going to keep on trying. And like I said, man, I'm the biggest tryhard out of all of them. And now look at me, man. About 5 years ago before I got signed, you know how many people were saying to me, or like talking behind my
Dude,
back,
yeah.
oh, when's he going to give it up? When does he think he's going to, does he think he's Conor McGregor? Now all of a sudden, they're all I know some of the people that were saying that who personally messaged me, oh, well done, man, I'm so proud of you. Felt like right saying, man, no, you're not, you little bitch. You said that shit about, he's like, I'd slap you across the head, you know what I mean? But nah. But
it takes a lot to, to recognise that.
Yeah.
I think it takes a very humble person to recognise that too.
Yeah.
And the Conor McGregor's Connor. It's funny because I saw something of his where, the dude fucking couldn't pay bills and and it seems like to be a fighter. Now this is where I could be wrong.
Yeah.
You need some sort of. Well, you obviously need to be a psychopath.
Yeah.
That's once you have that down pat.
Yeah.
There's something there where you've had something happen in your life which definitely isn't like for whatever normal is.
Yeah, you need adversity.
There must be some major. So if you can tick those two boxes, and I reckon it helps if you were bashing people when you were a kid.
You see, I wasn't, but
I know.
But this is where I see myself.
I know you. From what you're saying, you weren't, but your brother was.
Yeah. I got to see it through. But this is where I say I'm a weird fighter to a lot of people. So the difference between me and the other guys in the world is, see, as a young man, I was lucky. I travelled all the way. I went to college in America. I've been all through Thailand. Like I said, I've done a lot of travelling, trained with some of the best teams in the world, best fighters. And a lot of those guys, man, they weren't lucky as I was, man. I'd be staying in like, okay, my room was a piece of shit, but it was not as bad as their room. There was like 6 of them in one room. I at least had the dump to myself, you know what I mean? They had the shit. And I'd look at those guys and I was like, man, they're literally fighting. Like, hear the Mike Tysons and stuff. They had nothing.
Yeah.
He was fighting to put food on the table for his family. That's why he did what he did. And that's that hunger that you find in your heart, man. And he was like, I've got to get in the ring and get it for my family. See, me, I'm like, I could quit tomorrow and I could still live this life that I'm living. But I'm that stupid that I want to get in there and I want to take everything they got and even more, because that's how stupid I am. Like, I don't have to be here, but I want to be here. And that's why I believe in myself, because those guys need to fight for the food. I got that food and I'm still willing to get in here and fight for it, because I think that's where it shows a lot of honor and respect when you've got it all and you're like, still, man, I'm still going to try even harder. Even though I've got it, I ain't going to give up, because I know it's weird, because I say this often with a lot of people, is I get this weird feeling in me. I was like, ever since I was a kid, man, I was like, there's something big that was supposed to happen to me now. I don't know what it is, whether it's me getting arrested or me going to jail for, I don't know. No, seriously. And I'm dead set, and my brothers would feel the same. There's something big out there for both of us. And I think that's why we travel the world looking for it. Like, we're looking for something that's meant to be coming our way, and we don't know what it is, but we're not afraid to answer to the call, man. Like, we want to find out what it is. And like I said, that's the problem in life. We all want to do something that's going to make our lives great. But why don't you just get into life and find, it's not always going to end well. That's what you've got to realise. And that's why I've come to consideration of, I don't know if I'm going to win a world title. I don't know if I'm going to be the greatest of all time. But like I said, I'm going to have a hell of a good time finding out, man. Like, and that's what I'm down for, the story, man. Like, ready to... Yeah.
Fuck it, mate. If all else fails, it might be a Netflix documentary.
Yeah. Well, they're honestly, the amount of people that walk into my house and go, this family needs to be documented. Like, my household is somewhat, honestly, if you were to show that on TV, we'd be arrested within minutes. Like, they're like my brother and my dad in their jocks all the time, swearing, screaming, ripping down the house. But that's chaos, man. Like I told you, that's probably why I like chaos so much, because I've just been born into that environment. And it's
How
fun.
important is your dad being?
To me, the biggest, when I got signed to one championship, the only goal I had was so when you win, you get this big ass like one championship medallion. It's like this thick. It's so nice, man. And I was like, I need to win one of those for my dad. Like, to give him that is like for me, my first child would be named after my dad. I've already told the missus, told her. It's Giuseppe. Giuseppe. Her mum always spews. They call him that. They'll be teased. I'm like, good. I want my son to be teased, man, because it'll make him tough, man. There's nothing wrong with a bit of bullying, I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. It makes you tough, gives you a bit of thick skin, you know what I mean? So I wanted to be called Giuseppe. I wanted to be teased. But the thing is, obviously I haven't had the child yet, but for me to win that one medallion and give it to my dad was like, I remember the guy had me in a choke right with about 10 seconds to go, and I just remember thinking to myself, Tony, you're not tapping, because this medal is that close to going to your dad. If you tap, you're a piece of shit. I was just holding on to it, and I won. I remember just jumping up in front of the camera, and I was like, fuck, Dad, I did it. I did it, because everyone back home was watching, because they're not allowed to come to the fight. And I had like 150 people at my house in my driveway. They had flares. People going
Really?
Yeah, you got to see it, man. My mates go crazy. There was flares. I don't know if I got the videos.
When you come home.
No. In my driveway, I've got a big long driveway,
Yeah.
and my brother put a big
Screen up.
and everyone came there and watched it. And you're talking people from all over the neighborhood. Like you got to see the diverse group that come. You got the oldest of like aunties and uncle, like Chocks, Italians, and Greeks. Then you got like the most boganers Aussies from the local footy club coming down with some beers, screaming. And then you've got my mates there letting off flares. People are going crazy. To me, it makes it all worth it. To get in there and you're busted up after your hands killing your foot, you busted. But you see those videos and you're like, man, it's all worth it. Look at the joy that it brings all these people from a community, a diverse community together, and they have one thing in common. And lucky enough, it's me, and they get to watch me do it, and everyone gets excitement and joy out of it. And like I was saying, one of my biggest things is I want to show the kids from anywhere in the world, man, any walk of life, you can do what you want. You just got to keep on going. And like I said, you may not make it, but be humble enough to realize that the guy who made it, that you didn't make it, maybe they were just better than you. Like there's no problem with being, to losing. That we live in this world where everyone has to win. No, there's only one winner. But if you come second and third, it doesn't matter. Like it's at least you had a shot at it.
Yeah.
The one who should be ashamed is the one who never had a shot at all. Yeah, exactly. So that's something that I'm huge on.
Yeah. Very good. You're very. You
You
underestimate yourself a little bit with your insightfulness,
Yeah.
and I think. Do you because you haven't had a real job?
I have had a few. I worked at.
Have you worked at McDonald's?
No, I worked at a traffic.
I
I worked at a traffic.
Lollipop.
Lollipop guy for a while, which I was horrible at, and then I worked at X Convenience, which I was also horrible at. But Tom, who luckily is one of my great sponsors and a great friend, he still stands by that I was a good worker, but I was horrible. I was always late. I ruined everything. Like I'd screw up all the pump readings wrong. I'd write the wrong numbers. His brother would have to ring me every day.
I did ring Mr. X.
Yeah.
About you.
Yeah.
So he said, he knows your brother.
Which one?
Steve.
Steve, yeah.
So I had been...
you got a bit of insight?
I got a little bit of
Steve's
insight.
A good bloke.
He filled me in more of your brother's antics with traveling around America doing porn shows.
Yeah. He's the brother.
Has he got a good camera, your brother, or does he use you for the film crew?
No, I won't film, man, because I just laugh too much. I can't, and to watch your brother do that stuff's messed up. Like I can't watch. I'm not big. Yeah, like my mates love it. They watch it. They're anyway. I didn't want to, because I find that strange when you know someone. I don't know, like about you guys.
It's straight.
But for me, if I know a person, I don't want to see
Mate,
you, fella.
I do not want to see it.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
I would not want to see one of my friends.
Yeah. That's not what I. But some of the, But anyway, the brother just.
So you must have seen something
of him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. I've walked in on many times on him. You know what? I came home recently and he's there and he's in his, because he lives in a shed. He literally lives in a big, essentially if the Playboy house had a garden shed, that'd be it. No, seriously, it's like the Playboy's garden shed. And you go in there and he's got all these rock posters. He's got a toilet in the corner of the room, nothing around it. So when he's having a shit, you can be talking to the whole room. And the plumbing system's not working that well, and it's every morning he's out there just in a t-shirt, naked, filling up a bucket to flush out the toilet. He's like a caveman. He kills me, man. I laugh my head off, like, oh yeah, I can't help it. But he's just a madman. He loves it. He just, to me, it inspires me a lot to be yourself. Not everyone's going to approve of you. Like we were saying before, you can have 10 cars, but someone's going to have 11. You can have, a big, massive boat, someone's going to have a big one.
You can have a 10-inch cock. And someone's got a 12-inch cock.
Man. It's true. He'll never stop. And that's what he said to me. He's like, fuck everyone and what they think about you, man. Just go for it. And I was like, all right. That's what we do. We just go for it every day, man. We just get up and just think of how we can kick ass, man, today. Let's do it. And it doesn't always, like I said, I guess my goals are different to other people's. I don't care about money and all that sort of stuff. And even fame to a sense. Like I said, I only want what I'm worth. Like I don't want to be known because I was on the Wheat Bix commercial doing the thumbs up. I want someone to come to me, oh man, you're Tony. I seen you fight. You fought Edward Falanga. That's what I want to be known for. That's why I don't really go near like Channel 9s and Channel 7s and the advertisers. I'm like, stick it, man. I want to do my own. I want to come from the grassroots to the top. I don't want to go mainstream. I want to be, known as a guy that made it for the community. Like I told you before, when they all come watch my fight from all those walks of life, I'm like, man, it's the most inspiring thing about what I do, to bring people from all walks of life into one common, to one common room. It's very strange to see when you've got people like my uncle who lives in the western suburbs, Italian guy, standing next to a guy who's like, totally pissed off his head, like drunk, shirt ripped open, but they're both cheering for the same thing, and I find that very inspiring. Yeah, that's one of my favourite feelings.
And it is impressive to Salisbury kid, Elizabeth, like northern suburbs.
Yeah, I love that.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you feel the pressure of the people behind it?
No, I more feel the excitement.
Okay.
I never feel the pressure. Like to me, it's because they don't expect nothing out of me. Like I expect nothing out of myself. I go out there and I'm like, well, like I said, what's the worst that can happen? I get my ass kicked. The best thing is I kick this guy's ass and get paid double the money for it. So let's do it, man. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah, so it helps. It helps.
Yeah. Yeah, those people inspire me. Yeah, they do, all of them. Even though I know, like my dad, he shits himself when I fight, man. I can understand. I'm his youngest son. I've never seen my dad in like my life, like never cry, never no emotion. And I remember when I first fought and I flew to Jakarta, he cried, man. I was like, fuck, man. He thinks I'm gonna die.
The fight?
Yeah, because he thinks I'm gonna die. He thinks, you're gonna get in the cage and you're dead. The guy's gonna kill you. Because my dad, like he sees me, I guess, as still a little baby, and he's thinking, how are you gonna fight someone on You're gonna get smashed. I'm like, Dad, sit down and watch me do my job, yeah? And that's when I go in there and do my job. And I ring my dad straight after the fight always. Besides the last one when I lost with Peter, I was like, yeah, Dad, you were right there. But I ran this fight. My dad was shitting. My dad would not talk to me for 6 weeks. I'd ring him. What do you want? I'd call him in from when I'm in America. Dad, how are you? What do you fucking want? I was like, Dad, I just want to call, say hello. Oh, fucking what are you son of a bitch? Fuck off. That's how he talks to me. Fuck off. I'm like, yeah, Dad, I love you too. Yeah, fuck off. We're going to go. And we muck around. That's how we talk, me and my old man and our family. And then when I won, the first thing I did was I ring him. I said, I told you, you old cunt. I told you I'm going to win. I said, no, you just got yourself a new medal. And he's like, yeah, hurry up and bring it home, dickhead. And that's how we talk, But I love and respect my father because I know that he truly does believe in me, but he's just worried about me. And I'm like, don't worry, Dad. Like, even if I get knocked out, I'll get up and go again. It doesn't matter. Like, life ain't over until they kill me, you know what I mean? So might as well just keep on going.
And even then, you don't know.
Yeah, and even then. And they might bring me back to life. Then I'll go down to hell and kick some more ass, you know what I mean? Because that's where we're going for sure. I'm telling you that much. Me and my brother and my old man, we got the luxury suite down there. I'm telling you that much.
So with you also, I've been told, you don't mind mushroom extracts.
Yeah. Well, to me, anything that comes out of the ground, I love, man. That's why I love coffee. It's natural. It's from the ground. I love mushrooms. I love
CBD.
CBD. Anything that's from the ground, I believe is given to us as a gift. And I see like food from the ground is like a religion, man. It comes up, I eat it, man. And it gives me fuel to go do what I got to do for the day.
There's something about. There's something about things that are growing naturally. I don't know.
At the moment, I listen to a lot of. I love my podcast of Joe Rogan. I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan. I listen to a lot of different doctors talking, and then I started trying out with lion's mane mushrooms.
So do you use Life Cycle products?
No, I use I've used Life Cycle before, and then I got onto. What's his name? Paul Stamets, Host Defense.
Paul Stamets.
Yeah, Paul Stamets. Okay. Yeah, that's what I got. Because he was, to me, he spoke
like
so
original.
well. Yeah, he's sort of the Godfather.
Yeah,
I believed in his stuff more so, and I get his stuff, and I even I actually started growing lion's mane in my you can grow it at home, in your cupboard.
Lion's mane's amazing.
Yeah. And I got my girlfriend. She cooks it up for me, and I eat it, and because
I reckon lion's mane does things too.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe all the mushrooms do. I believe they have like the properties in them that they are true, man. I think they can. Look, they're not gonna. People think you're gonna have a mushroom and you're like, oh, you turn into Super Mario. No, it's a lifelong thing, Yeah, but it's true. They do. They think, oh, I'm gonna take this. This. I'm gonna eat a strawberry and get it. Like no, it's a lifelong thing, you idiot.
Yeah, because I noticed. I love Life Cycle products.
Yeah.
JP10. Listening.
I'm gonna have to get some now because you take them.
But they are signing fighters.
Yeah. I've seen they work with Rashad Evans.
So, Why don't you fucking hit him up?
Well, I guess I have to. You know what I mean? I guess
I'll
I
hit
have
him
to.
up. You know what?
There you go.
I
There
will
we go.
send something
There we go.
because they've changed my life.
Yeah.
I was having heaps of coffee. I've weaned off coffee. I still have coffee every now and then. But I was having a lot and a
Yeah.
lot of energy drinks and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't see anything like that, man. Like, I love Red Bull. If they want to sponsor me, please do. But I don't drink it, man. To me, no offense, that's like you're getting that at X convenience out of the pump. You know what I mean? It's like unleaded fuel, bro. Like they're toxins, man. I'm sorry, I can't put that in my body.
And fair enough. So with that, I was like, okay. And I've also joined the board for Medican, which is a CBD.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
So
nice.
from Sydney, small business. But when you hear professionals talk about what the product does, it's mind blowing.
Yeah, no, it is, and it's unfortunately we live in a world where we're so conditioned by like the thought of the word, even marijuana. People are like, oof. You just say marijuana, like people freak out. I'm like, oregano, marijuana, it's tomatoes. Like, they're all the same, man. Do you realize they actually come out of tobacco? Even, my friend, everything comes out of the ground and everything has its place and its properties. And I really do believe in CBD and I believe in mushrooms and that they are the way. That I think they're the next step of a human evolution. You know what I mean? Like, I think, like we, from good nutrition, we became like people, I'm no scientist, but I do think we sort of do come from monkeys, I can see the similarities, especially in myself. I'm like, damn, I'm just as dumb as a chimp. Like, chimps and me, they're not much difference, man. I used to be as hairy as one, thank God for lasering. Shout out to Alexi with their lasers, man.
Does your laser grow back?
Nah, man, nah. I used to be, honestly, like a monkey.
I got my chest lasered and under here. Because I
How many times?
Oh, a lot.
Yeah.
But this grew back.
Yeah.
Not thick, but grew back on my chest.
You got to go see my girl, Alexia. She's the one, man.
Because I hate hair.
Yeah, same, man. It just gets in the way.
Gets in the way.
Mess with the jive, man. You know what I mean? I want to be smooth when I'm swimming. I'm cutting those laps. I want to fly. You know what I'm saying? Plus, you look more shredded. Let's be honest. You always look. Come on, man.
Well, I'm white.
You got to work on that. You got to work on that.
I'm
tan.
white.
Yeah.
Like white.
Yeah. Well, do you get in the sun much?
No. Oh, I got the river, but I
Yeah, but I'm talking much.
lather
Yeah,
up,
no. See,
lather up.
I don't anything. I don't use toothpaste no more. I don't use.
The fuck do you use?
I just use coconut oil and
fucked. Give
and
us a look,
baking
give us a
soda.
look.
I got fucked teeth, but
They're
they're
fucking
not
white.
bad. Not bad. Come on. I don't believe in
They're
chemicals,
white.
man. I'm trying to wean off all
What
chemicals.
about deodorant?
Nah, don't use it. I use, but
Like, what do you
I
use?
spray it on my clothes first, then I put them on. My what do you call it?
Length.
Aftershave.
No.
Aftershave. Yeah, the stuff my girlfriend buys me, so I spray them on.
So you've gone full.
Yeah, man. Like, because I just believe, like I
My
said.
wife lectures me on underarm deodorant all
Yeah.
the time. You're killing the kids.
Nah, you just, you got to make sure you do. You got to make
Like
sure
they
you
drive with you, babe. I'm not killing the kids.
Yeah. Take a hint, you know what I mean? Maybe it's not me. I feel you, bro.
But she's like fanatical about it. Yeah, she does. She injects Botox into her fucking face. So this is where you get that. Oh no, but I'll do this.
Wait, so your missus says no to deodorant?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were saying she's saying you need to use it.
No.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. See that? That's what I mean. We're living
It's killing you.
We're living in this world where it's like one thing for the other. It's like my mate Lee, back to him again about you got to get rid of the blue light. The blue light's killing your brain, right? So what he did is, I swear, he's bought this big red light. Have you ever seen Seinfeld?
Is it a brothel?
You ever seen Seinfeld?
Some bits.
You have you ever seen the episode when Kramer's in that room and it's all red?
Nah.
I walk past it and my mate, I get up one night, go to the toilet. First night he bought this red light. I see in the door this big beaming red light. And I knocked on this door and I'm like, Satan. And you fuck off, lad. And I'm like, Lee. But then you go in his room and he's got the phone while the red light's on it. And I'm like, Lee, just put the phone down and then you don't need the red light. No. I'm like, we're living in this such counterbalanced world, you know what I mean? We say one thing, we do another, and like you just said, people spray, but then they'll inject toxins into it. It's like, come on, guys, it's one or the other. Which one do you want to do? Do you want to be pure or do you just want to talk shit? Which one is it, For me, it's so that's why I'm very organic, very fresh.
So what do you brush? What do you use it to?
Just coconut oil and baking soda. Look, I'm not gonna lie. When I eat garlic, the missus hates it. She's like, "Now you're gonna smell like garlic for the next 3 days." I said, "Honey, I'm a Greek. What do you want?" You know what I mean? But
I love that you're fucking Greek and Italian. You just pick which one you want to.
Exactly. You know, people always say to you, "Which one do you like better?" I said, "It depends who's paying the bill." You know, if it's an Italian guy, I'm like, "Yeah, bro, up the Italians, Forza, the Azzurri, man." If it's the Greeks, I'm like, "Yeah, bro, Spartan number one Spartan over here." You know.
You know what?
He's thinking.
I've thought.
He's thought.
I've got a good idea.
I like that.
It's just crossed my
mind.
mind.
I feel like these two are nervous, and I'm excited.
I've just across my idea. I've got an idea. I won't forget it. So you're full natural, not vegan, but like
Look,
let
me say this: I'm as natural as I can be. I can only eat the fruit and veg that like my dad buys for me. Like now, my brother at the moment is growing a full garden. Like he's actually at the moment putting up a whole like greenhouse out in our backyard, a rainwater catching system.
But you're fucking leaving, mate.
Yeah, I know, but that's when I get home. It's going to be. But see, when I'm in America now, that when I move to America, I'm going to actively buy all organic food, organic fruit and veg. Even my diet, I don't even cook my eggs anymore. I just drink them because I think it's as raw as possible. It's boom, just drink the eggs. And plus, my brother does it, so I had to beat him. That's the main thing. My girlfriend, she laughs at me because I tell her.
So how much? Like you just crack it and drink it?
2 bang every morning, every afternoon because I fast in the morning. I just start off with coffees, a bit of CBD oil, vitamin D spray, and then and then I wait till 12 o'clock and have 2 eggs and a banana, and then I'm not gonna lie, that's the only thing I take supplements, but you got to remember, I'm working at it's like like you drive a fast car. You can't go put in normal, you got to put in the best. So I do take CMBT protein and BCAAs and stuff. But once the career is over, I do plan on just getting rid of all that stuff.
And going natural?
Pure natural, man, and living with what I've got. And
so you one of these guys that go to a restaurant and can't fucking eat anything?
Yeah, my missus spews at me all the time. No, but on the weekend.
You're one of those?
Yeah, on the weekend.
So can you order anything?
Yeah, it's steak, man. A nice steak and veg, man.
But what if they put butter on it?
Well, butter's fine. Is it natural butter or is it bullshit butter?
Yeah,
Come on, man. You're in the industry. You know the difference, That's what I'm saying. Like I'm like, it's so easy, the differences and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I say to people, if you do love these, I'm like, why don't you just have more coffee? I know it's still not as good, but I'm like, at least it's natural. And eventually you can slowly get rid of all that sort of stuff. And, because like I said, your body is organic. It needs to stay organic. It helps process everything better, I believe. I changed my diet to a full, like, as an organic, say 90%. Yeah. And I lost 6 kilos, just like that. I train less and I'm lighter than ever. I'm stronger than ever.
By changing your diet.
Just changing my diet, man, honestly. Introduced the mushrooms, CBD, and my ability. Like I said, I lift way more. I run. My running times. When I was younger, I used to play footy. I used to run my ass off, man. If I could not crack a 5-minute K. That's how it's like. Wow. Now I do 4-minute 21 kilometer. I run 6 Ks in. The other day I did one in like 26 minutes. I was like, what the hell, man? That's so fast. Yeah. I was like, I thought it'd be getting slower as I get older, but if anything, I'm actually getting better. I'm becoming, a
4-minute K is quick.
Yeah, 4-minute 21. That was my last kilometer. I ran a 4-minute 1 second kilometer.
So you ramped up. So after 5, you got.
Yeah, I push even. I'm the guy. I push harder at the end there. That's how I sort of work. But I really base it all around my diet. That's why if I couldn't express to anyone. I see all the, and you would have seen it heaps in Elizabeth especially. You see all these big fat people in these big gopher scooters. Oh, cry for me, I've got a disability. And then behind them, they've got, 6 sodas, 10 bags of chips, big block of chocolate, and you're like, that's the problem. Not, look, unfortunately, some people do have disabilities in life, and they do need help. But then you've just got some people just literally just that lazy. They don't even want to know the truth because they don't want to. Like, reality hurts some people, man. Yeah. It does. Especially in the world we're living in now. Oh God, you can't even tell people the truth. They start crying. You know how many people I make cry? I'm like, geez, man, I'm just telling you the truth. My missus tells me to shut up all the time, I'm like, damn. I can't help it.
Well, if you don't want the truth, don't ask me for the.
Yeah, but I want to help, man, because if I see a person who is in a way definitely like they're overweight and they could easily fix a few things in their diet, I'll just tell them. I'll be like, look, if you didn't eat that and you ate this, you'd probably lose some weight. Oh, you telling me I'm fat? No, I'm not saying you're fat, but I'm saying you're unhealthy and you could be healthier. That's what I'm saying. I'm sorry if you're offended.
Yeah, people can't handle that.
Yeah, they can't. I find it very strange. You know, you tell someone the truth and they get offended at you. I'm like, oh, okay, like, sorry. Maybe you shouldn't just do it. Maybe you won't be offended. You know, like.
I fucking laugh. I gotta laugh, dude.
Yeah.
In fact, I can't even tell you my next story. My wife would fucking kill me.
Yeah. I feel like I gotta know.
Like, you know, my wife's always worried about weight, like always. I like most women, right? And
Yeah,
come
my missus
home,
is the same.
always.
My
And
missus is
and I'm
size
like-
6, man, and she still thinks she's fat. I'm like, you're crazy.
And that's what I say to Nat, like, you're not fat, babe. Like, just it's. Then she goes, I'm starting to get fit. So, all right, cool. So she's gone to the gym and she's enjoying it. You know, he's always got something sore, hips, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there, I came home and, you know, the packet of chips, like, big stuff, salt vinegar, Samboy. It's been brought up a few times in podcasts because I hope she doesn't listen to this one. And it's sitting there, she like eats the packet, but leaves like 3 or 4 chips and then wraps it up and puts it back. And then next night, like chips, like wraps it up. And I was like, oh, and I said, babe, she said, oh, fuck, you know, just working out. And I said, babe,
You can't.
I don't give a fuck what you do. You're eating a packet of chips. She was not eating a whole pack.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're right. You're not. You leave me 4 fucking chips to eat.
Yeah.
And I go, you're fucking eating every night, babe.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
I sit there and then she gets a bit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're saying me. You're saying
Yeah.
me about my weight. And I'm so like, babe, I said, I won't say anything.
Nah,
but
I'm with
don't,
ya.
don't whinge to me.
90% of the people that hear this, they're going to think you're an asshole, but I'm 100% with you. You're just saying to her, look, you're trying to get fit and then you're eating chips. Like you're totally counteracting what you, it's like you're trying to get dehydrated. Like, I want to get hydrated. I'm going to go sit in the sauna. You're like, no, you meant to drink water. No, I'm going to go sit and you're like, you know, don't say that I don't like water. I want to sit in the sauna. You're like, but I'm just trying to help you, man. Like, I'm sorry.
That's for me, but it's like an attack. And it's like, I always say, I'm on a diet. I say it as a fucking joke now because I just can't. I'm not disciplined enough.
Yeah, you do have to be super disciplined. You have to be very disciplined.
Yeah, and you must be.
I'm not going to lie. It took me 28 years to get to here. Like, it took me a long time to, like, really focus in my mindset. And once I got that mindset focus, and it was helped through guys like a good friend of mine, Martin Nguyen, who's Australian, who fights one championship. You know, he was like to me, Tony, you got to get that weight down and sit on a good, better weight. Like you're being a pig. Like stop eating so much. And I was like, oh, all right, done. And that's what I did. I changed my mindset. And my brother said the same to me after a fight. He's like, Tony, look how fat you are. Like, man, like lose some weight.
Tough love.
And I was like, oh, okay. And that from that day on, I've just never looked back. And I now walk around, like I said, 6 kilos lighter, super lean all year round. And I can take fights, you know, on short notice because I'm ready to go. And like I said, I'm stronger, I'm fitter, I'm faster than ever. And it's all down to my, you know, healthy diet, healthy eating. And, you know, that's why I'm big on it. Like people look at me like I'm a mental case, but I'm just trying to help you. It's like me and you when we talk about CBD with mushrooms. A lot of people think we're crazy. All we're trying to do is help you.
Well,
yeah.
My mum's on every drug on the planet.
Yeah. The prescription,
Like,
the ones that the white lab,
oxycodone.
Who that you over? Let me just say this quickly before you move on. Your overweight GP who looks like he's just crawled out of a bin is giving me health advice. I'm looking at you going, bro, you're so fat and decrepit. Why am I taking health advice off you? You're meant to be a doctor. Like, you should come in. You should be fit. Hey, you going, man, you know, looking great. But instead, your GP's this big fat slob, and you're like, I just thought you were the healthy guy. You know, you have the answers. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, come on, man. You're like, is that not the truth? So tell your mum that for starters. So look at your doctor. Would you take advice off of him if you didn't know he was a doctor?
Yeah, so she's on like hard drugs.
Yeah,
like,
my dad's the same, and he loves it.
And I said to mum, have you thought of taking CBD oil?
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah.
Marijuana. And I'm like, Mum, like you're on the strongest medication.
Yeah.
Why don't you just ask because you can get it prescribed and see how you feel. Oh, yeah, but like, and I'm like, won't even entertain it. Yeah, we'll gobble fucking 7 oxycodone.
My dad's the exact same, but it's that mindset. They were built so hardcore against something that they can't now go back. They're just so ingrained into that mentality. Like, you know, like I know a lot of high-level, world-class athletes who smoke hella weed, man. And I'm like, these guys are intelligent, like hard-working athletes, never take a day off. I'm like, it's contrary to everything that I was told as a child. If you smoke a joint, you're going to become the biggest loser, dropout ever. I'm like,
drug addict.
yeah. I'm like, I know a lot of people who are world-class athletes who you watch on TV and admire their bodies and how they can perform. And, you know, even that swimmer there, what was his
Phelps.
name? The American guy?
Michael Phelps.
Is it the bloke who won those 600 gold medals?
Okay, gold medals.
You know, and then he comes out, you know. But still people would be like, no, it's wrong. It's wrong. I'm like, whatever. Like, I really believe that you should wait till you're 21 or so. Your brain must develop before you start taking even mushrooms and anything, because I think your brain's in that building process. But once it's developed, now it's about enhancing it, putting, you know, more parts on it, helping it get faster, fine-tuning it. And that's why I believe in things like mushrooms, CBD. And I'm willing to try everything too. Look, not everything works.
Yeah.
Just give it a go and test it out. Keep a diary.
Yeah.
And if it works for you, keep it. If it doesn't, throw it away.
That's the unique part about the human body. Is how much it does adapt.
Yeah.
And everyone's different. Like I'm different to Ollie. Thank God for that. You can, so for instance, I've never had a sick day.
Yeah.
Ollie's had 6,666. So it just went up the other day. So,
there we go, Ollie.
So we're different. Thank God for that.
Must have an active love life if he's having so many sick days.
I don't know. We haven't got into that yet. Should we get into that now?
Yeah. Mic him up.
That is definitely getting cut.
Oh, come on, man. There's some of the best stories with your mates.
Yeah.
I always said to my mates, it ain't true until you've told your mates, all right? Because that's what it was all about when me and my brother were younger. We used to love it, man. We used to run amok, man. We used to go travel the world, just pick up as many chicks as we could. It was fun, man. But that's what it's all about, man. As a young man.
We can't travel the world.
Yeah, now you can't. But we'll go to Wallaroo, man. We'll go to Wallaroo or something. We'll fight. The country chicks are crazy too. They love it.
So if you weren't doing what you're doing now, what would you be doing?
Like, as in, would I still at least be able to be a martial arts?
You can do what if you had unlimited money, unlimited life. If you like
what I'm doing right now.
If you wanted to fuck.
Yeah, right now, honestly, I would not change it. I still think I would fight. I still think I would still love to live in Salisbury. It's always my dream to buy the 4 houses around me and then just build one mega house and have a Ferrari. That's always my dream.
Really?
I want to be the only guy in Salisbury that owns a Ferrari.
Now you're Italian.
That's it, man. That's it. Now I'm Italian. Now I'm back. But the number plate Spartan just to piss everyone off. That's what I do. But some guy in Adelaide, he's got the number plate Spartan. So call out to you, whoever you are. Watch out. That's my number plate. Give it to me.
That's cool. I love that.
So that's honestly, if I had I still think I'd do exactly what I'm doing. I'd probably just try and help more people achieve, like, get on the path that I'm on, you know, and it's not hard. It's just about perspective and seeing life how it is. And it's all just one big game, one big fun game. You know what I mean? It really is, man. Like, in the day, even you look at things like people log onto your bank app, look at your bank account. It's all just numbers. Any moment they can just take it all away from you and it's all over. You start again. So,
well, you might, any day it can be over.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly right. And that's, once again, many people say, you never know when it could be over. And I'm going, oh, what are you going to do different then? Oh, nothing. You're like, so you told me the quote, but you ain't doing nothing about it. To me, man, I'm like, I'm just getting up and I'm just going to just keep on chasing stuff, doing something crazy. Like, I like to be the guy at the party that everyone wants to talk to. I don't want to be the guy that's sitting there listening and they go, oh, what'd you do today? I speak to a lot of people, cousins, family members, friends. Oh, how you been, bro? I haven't seen you in 5 years. What's been happening? Oh, just got married. Oh, yeah. What else you doing? Oh, got a job. Oh, okay. What about you, Tony? Oh, well, so I just came back from Hong Kong and then I'm flying to Singapore, man. I just thought it to, that's what you want, man. That's life. You want to have tales to tell, man. You want to be.
You can definitely story tell,
yeah,
so
man.
you are blessed.
Yeah. No,
yeah. What do you wish you had known when you first started out? And what would be your advice to another 14 or 16-year-old, maybe an 18-year-old Antonio? What advice could you give them now if they wanted to be a fighter and they wanted to do this? You're now 30. What is it you could give them that would be worldly advice that you know now that you didn't know when you were at school?
Like I said to you earlier, like, I've always loved martial arts, always been involved in it, but I never wanted to compete in it because I was just so scared of losing. I was always scared of, like, what if I lose and I fail? I'm going to let everyone down, like I was, and then when I got to an age when I just kept winning and life was too good of what it could give me. And that's when I finally realized, you know what, man, like, I am good enough. Like, who cares if you don't become a world champion? Just go out there and try. And that was, something that I was too scared of back then. I didn't want to fail. I didn't want to lose. I didn't want to be, to be looked down upon. So, I held myself back for all those years. I started fighting when I was I think 22 or 23, and in that period I got signed in 2019, and in that 6-year period I only had 7 fights. Like if I was a younger man and I had this mentality back then, I probably would have had 20-something fights by now. Like I look at a guy like Robbie Whittaker, who's he's not even well known in Australia. He had the world title, like an amazing feat. What a legend. He's actually a year younger than me. He's got 3 kids. He's won a world title. He's fought some of the best guys in the world, and I'm like, some of that is, like that's probably his belief from when he was a kid. He was just like, man, I can do this. And, he is where he is today. And I got nothing but love and respect for that guy. And people have done that. And then that's what I would tell the younger men. Don't be afraid to lose, man. Just go out there and try. And if you try it, like I said with that Peter fight, if you just give it everything else will fall into place. People respect you more for rocking up and trying than they will if you don't rock up at all. Because I think, that's how respect is earned, not given, and that's one thing that, I think it took me until I became a man. I realised, because I'm a very immature guy, very immature. Like even, we love to muck around. Both, we love to keep it light, but at the same time, sometimes you do have to get serious. When the time's to get serious, you have to. And I just didn't have it in me back then to do it. But now I do, and that's probably the advice I'd pass on to a younger me.
That's great.
A young Spartan. And I would also said to get in the coffee earlier. I didn't really like coffee till I was like 23, 24.
I didn't have coffee until I had kids.
I travelled all around Europe, around Italy and everything, and I didn't even have a coffee. I have one every now and again. I can't wait to get back to Italy. I'm dying to go out there so I can get into it more.
If there was one thing that you could do that would impact the world, what would it be?
Well, I could do anything.
This is La La Land stuff. You can do anything. We've had various things. People have talked about world peace, blah blah blah. But we've had people talk about one thing for them.
Yeah.
So we really don't care. We don't judge in here.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a tough one. One thing. That sounds like there's a lot of pressure, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is the pressure.
Well, it's got to be for the world. The world,
Yeah, this does say world, but it hasn't it? Yeah, it's a world.
I mean, it'd be, I just think, I don't care about because there's never going to be world peace. We live in a world where they're all humans and we're all selfish, okay?
Yeah.
But it'd be cool if everyone in the world, no matter where you came from, whatever country, we just all had an equal chance. An equal playing field, man. Like I said, I've been all over the world, and the only difference between a guy from Ethiopia compared to a guy in Australia is where you were born. They're born in that country, and it is so hard to get out of there, man. We're here, and we've got every opportunity. I wish the world had that opportunity. We could, because there's so many talented, athletes, fighters, musicians, that I've been all around. I've been in Thailand, and I've seen some guitarists, like shredding up the guitar, and I'm like, wow, man, and probably no one's ever even heard of this person ever, and they never will. Like what's out there that we don't know yet? So I'd love to have a cool, equal playing field where we could see the best talents in the world come to light, and you know what I mean, and be entertained by the true best of the best. So I guess an equal opportunity for everyone across the world would be a cool thing to see. I guess if I was being a nice guy, if it was me, I'd just be a millionaire. Give me a couple billion, man. Yeah. I'll take over from there. I'll become the universal government. Yeah, that'd be right.
Oh shit!
That'd be pretty cool.
Now we have one last hard-hitting question.
Ooh.
This one,
might have to call the lawyer.
This one stumps people. Well, you do have one, your brother.
Yeah.
Not practicing, but
he's shit,
I'm sure
but he doesn't answer the phone when I call him. So I don't know how real good that is. I called him once from Germany. We got arrested because we got into a fight. I call him, he hangs up on me. I'm going, mate, I'm fucking stuck in a prison in Germany. And he's going, just pay the bill and get out. I said, what sort of lawyer are you? I wanted to go to court, man. I wanted to fight that case. Oh, yeah, we got out in the end.
You got out? Thank God. If you died and came back as a board game, what board game would best describe your life?
I don't really... Probably Twister. Is that a board game, technically?
Yeah.
Twister, man.
Why? Tell me.
Throwing body parts all over. Like chaos. It's chaos. It's stupid and it has no relevance and meaning to it. And you just jump on there and just make an absolute fool of yourself.
That is That's a fucking goal.
And it's also a good way to pick up chicks if you're trying to get to the next level. Yeah, well, I am so dead. My missus is going to kill me.
She
Dad.
won't listen this
She's
far,
gonna
mate.
fucking
Don't worry.
kill
She won't
me.
listen to 2.5 hours long. Don't worry.
She will. She's my biggest fan, man. My biggest fan. She listens to everything, watches everything I do. She's crazy about it. She loves it. So I'm fucked. But we're going to go out on some way. I'll probably twist her, man.
Twister, love it. Well, there you have it. You know, it's like 2.5 hours. It's been amazing talking to you. I was
it's a
really
pleasure.
unsure of what was to come. Like you were, it's like this, oh shit, what's happening next?
Yeah.
I did a bit of research. We had a fair bit of research on you, watched a few of your fights,
Yeah.
spoke to people that knew you, and you're absolutely amazing. And it's
thank you
amazing
very
to
much,
see in
man.
the last few years you've gone, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I have no doubt I'm speaking to a future world champion.
thank you
here.
very much,
And
man.
to come in and be able to get to see and hear the things that you say, humble beginnings. Let's see how that goes when you go to the bright lights of America and what you can bring back for someone that came from the northern suburbs here in Adelaide to take your abilities and skills to the world. It's just amazing here. And thanks very much for coming on.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank
for
you,
having
bro.
me. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks a lot,
you.
man.